Hello, family. Welcome back again. Today is another beautiful life and another beautiful show. I think we're about to have. I cannot really tell how this, show will go, but if you just come in, this is a sensitive topic that we're about to treat today, and I hope we will get at the end of the day, we will get some amazing informations and some great feedback on this platform. So if you just come in, please make sure you smash the like button and you announce your presence. I do this live frequently, and this channel, this platform is basically here for us to have a conversation. So if you just come in, just go ahead and let where you're watching from, announce your presence. This topic is really big and we need to talk about it. Thanks for joining, Brother Mohammed. Thanks for joining, Donna. Thanks for joining, Johnson. If you just join, let me know where you're watching from, announce your presence, and smash the like button. Let us know where you are watching from. Today we're doing the live early so a lot of people can join. Hey Anna, how you doing? Joyce, how you doing? Donna, how you doing? How you doing, Muhammad? Just comment below. Let's wait for a few people to join and we can get started today. Well, today's topic was suggested yesterday. A lot of people had a concern, and I want us to talk about it today. Why didn't the Africans on the continent reach out to, the Africans that were sold into the slave trade? Why? This question is something that I think a lot of people have always had their mind. They need an answer to this. They really need an answer to this. So, why? Why didn't Africans on the continent try to reach out to their family, their sisters, their brothers who were sold into this tragic situation? And did they even reach out? Did they have any type of movement to fight against it? What was their response to this? This is what we wanted to talk about today. Thanks for joining, brother Adrian. Thanks for joining. Empress said, being born in America, I've asked that question 1,000 times. I think that's the reason there's contention between Africans on the continent and African Americans. So today we wanted to talk about this topic. So I'll put the link below, and you can basically call in. Like I said, just call in and bring your feedback. I wouldn't really have much to say about this. I just want the viewers to basically talk about what they think and what they know about this history. So please, you can click on this link and call in. Let us know. Did the Africans on the continent really try to reach out? Do you have any history and information about it? What happened? Call in. Click on the link and call in. Thanks for joining, Damon. Thanks for joining, Damon. Just call in. Let us know what is your feedback. A lot of people have a concern about this, and because of that, there's some type of small tension between, especially those who feel, they are different from Africans on the continent. One of their major news, one of their major message or gospel they keep preaching, that they always say, we are not Africans because we were sold by the same people and they didn't even come to rescue us. And, a lot of people have this type of resentment within themselves. So I want us to really talk about this. What do you think happened? Did Africans on the continent try to reach out, or they did not even bother to reach out? What do you know about this? Just call in. Just call in. Just call in. Just call in. That's the link right there. Click on the link and call in and let us know, what do you really know about this? Do they really left, never called in, never tried, never did anything about it? what is your intake and what do you know? Just call in, um, just call in. That's the link below. Call in and give us 5 minutes on what really happened and what do you think? Do you have any history, any information to back your claims and say, hey, they did not reach out, or they did reach out, or this is what happened? Just click on the link, call in. This is a conversation we need to have because a lot of people have this same question. Like thousands of people have these same questions, and you only get to know it when there's a disagreement, when there's a heat conversation or a debate. That's when well, you guys didn't reach out to us. Africans on the continent did not reach out, this and that. So just call in, just call in, just call in. Hi, Brother Ray, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for being the first caller on here. This is my first time seeing you on the show. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for calling in.
No problem.
So this is the question on board today. Why did the Africans on the continent did not reach out to their brothers, sisters who were sold into this tragic situation? Or did they even reach out? We don't know. A lot of people have this same question. Thousands of people. Why?
So my belief is that because white supremacy is a worldwide system, and with the trading, us being stolen and brought to a new land that you guys probably didn't even know that we were actually on, and throughout the diaspora, there was a disconnect between our African brothers and sisters in Africa versus the ones that was actually traveled through and enslaved through the transatlantic slave trade. So it's kind of hard for Africans from the continent during that time to have unity when you guys are being colonized and at the same time we are being enslaved. So essentially lack of communication, lack of technology, probably didn't know what part of North America or we was even on the Americas, because again, we were dropped off, whether it be in the Caribbean, Brazil, and America, and the UK. So we was totally separated throughout the entire continent. So I don't see how during that time that Africa was being colonized, how you guys will have even the resources or the military strategic knowledge to go and try to rescue us. I don't see it. Or even the income, because they controlled all of that.
Right. And based on my knowledge, and few history that I know, when you pay attention to what happened, especially when you go to the Elmina slave castle in Ghana, one of the history that was told is, most of the people that were sold at that time were not sold, with the intent of being aware that we're selling somebody. It was
Exactly.
like, okay, they can come to the castle and work, and most of the times those people that were sent over there to work was people that were taken from tribal wars and all that stuff. So when they go, they had a tunnel under the castle that was not known by any of the chiefs and the native people. They built the tunnel that goes all the way to the shores of the ocean, and that's how they were able to camp. And they had guns at that time, so it's something that
advanced technology. Yeah,
right. Based on my knowledge at that time, few people actually got to know that this was what was actually happening. And before they realized, before it became an open trade, a lot of people started fighting against it.
I mean, I don't think a lot of people understand that the history that essentially, if you read the history books, and you have to read, a variety of different texts, that when we were being traded by our own kind, Africans didn't know the extent of what they were doing to give us to whether it be Belgium, French, Dutch, and the English, and also the Portuguese. They didn't know the extent of the slave trade, because Africans treated African slaves totally different than the ones that they actually took from the continent. So that information is essentially have been lost, and a lot of people are failed to do it. And some people believe, especially when you're talking to white people who don't really know, they just kind of hear remnants from either media or the world, and even so-called white supremacists. They just think, oh, you got your own people sold you into slavery. Like, no, we was not only sold, we were trading, we was also stolen. They just came on the continent once they knew the different areas. They just stole us. I mean, that's essentially, so it's a combination of the three, and we have to recognize all three of them.
Okay, so basically, in conclusion, what you're saying is, we didn't really have the capacity and power, the technology and everything to sort of reach out and fight at that time, and we were still going through colonization because we were also trying to get them out, from
Exactly.
the continent. Okay. Thank you so
In
much.
most African countries, I just want to say one thing. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
In most African countries, just became free in the 1960s. They just gained their independence in the 1960s. So.
Yep. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Calling. If you want to call in. Let's hear what you got to say, calling. This is a topic a lot of people have been asking. They want us to talk about this. This is something a lot of people have concern about. They really want to know, what actually happened. Did, the Africans on the continent disregard, rejected their brothers and sisters who were taken? Just calling. Hi, how you doing, Amelia?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. It's going to be a little bit dark because I'm in my car right now and it's night here.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay. Yeah. I was hearing you show. Actually, I like your show a lot. Sometimes I cannot connect, but I like it a lot because you bring some stuff that other YouTubers don't talk about it. Personally, I'm in Orlando, in Florida.
Okay.
But I'm Puerto Rican. I'm a Puerto Rican.
Okay.
So I'm gonna talk about my point of view.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you know, or other people don't know, Puerto Ricans, we born American citizens.
Okay.
But we are not North American. Our main language is Spanish. But about the slaves, when they brought them to Puerto Rico in the 15th century, right? They bring them to do the job that the white people couldn't do. Supposedly because white people were not strong enough. And African people were strong. They killed our Indians. They brought the Africans. But in my country, it's not like in North America because we all mix together. We all mix. So that combination between Spain, Indians, and Africans is what is a Puerto Rican today. So we all are different. You can see a white Puerto Rican, a black Puerto Rican, any Puerto Rican. You can be a Puerto Rican. The way you look, you can be one. So they brought the slaves, and I think because they didn't have in Africa the technology or the knowledge, or they didn't know what we were doing here, like what Africa was doing here. They kind of, I don't want to say forget, but it was kind of like that, They leave you alone, they leave Africans alone, and they didn't know what was going to happen. Actually, in my country, most of us were very proud to be part of Africa. We're very proud. And it's the opposite like in America, because in North America, it's like, I don't never understand why you African or your descendants are from, or ancestors are from Africa, and you're not proud of that. You're not proud. Like I don't get it. You understand? If
Uh,
he's
yeah,
German,
mhm.
if it's like if people the ancestors are from Germany, from Ireland, they're very proud. But when the ancestors are from Africa or Spanish, then they're not proud. And I never
Mhm.
understand that because in my country, and I'm talking about my country because I'm from there.
Yeah.
Most of the people are very proud to have those African roots. They're
Mhm.
very proud, most of us. So we don't understand exactly why always white people think they're better than others, you know? But I think what happened is that the technology and the knowledge and all that stuff, they they didn't want to forget you guys, but it was like they forget they didn't know what's going on, they didn't know all the suffering, all what you have to pass through, and I think that's what it is. It was lack of knowledge,
Okay,
lack of
so
technology.
yeah, so basically lack of education, lack of being aware of what's actually going on, and lack of the technology and the resources to actually say, hey, we want to, go and stop it. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I guess I don't think they even know what was going on. Like, because actually it's a shame that we're still dealing with racism now. It's a
Mm-hmm.
shame that we still do saying this is different, this is not, this is it's like that's crazy. I never understand. I live in United States, and at least where I live, it's not like that because there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of Spanish speakers. There's a lot of people from in here. That's what I like it here because you cannot see that difference like in other states that are more like white people, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what it was. It was a lack of knowledge, technology, education, as you said, and I think that's what it is.
All right. Thank you so much. I really
No,
appreciate your
thank
input.
you, thank you, and I love you. Everything I try to be connected, but sometimes I'm working. I can't. Right now, I come from work. I said I have to stop. I have to talk to that guy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you
Thank
can
you.
always rewatch the videos even if you miss it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
planning. I'm planning a trip to Ghana.
Okay.
I'm very curious about Ghana, so I'm trying to go November to January.
Okay.
I'm not sure when. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank
Just
you
let
so
me know
much.
in case
Okay.
you need any help. Just let me know as well. But thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night. Okay.
You too. Bye bye.
Thank
Calling. Just calling. If you want to call in, Miss Blue, you have to fix your mic and camera to be able to connect. Miss Blue, you have to fix your mic to be able to join your mic and your camera to be able to join. It says your device is not connected. But what do you really think happened? Just call in, let us know what you think happened. Did the Africans on the continent reach out or they did not reach out? And what was really the issue if they did not really reach out? Why? Just call in. A lot of people have this question at the back of their mind, and they just wanted to know. So just call in. Let us know what do you think and what do you know. Call in and share your insight. It's really important. A lot of people are watching and they feel they need to really get these answers. So it is really important you contribute and you call in and share. A lot of people have these emotions within themselves and therefore they need answers to these. And your answer might be able to help somebody. So just call in, click on the link down below and call in and let us know what actually happened. To me, like I said, I feel, a lot of people on the African continent at that time really did not know what was really going on. And like I said, because of miseducation, because of lack of resources that can basically help them defeat. Because trust me, many African countries, like the brother said on the previous connect, he was saying recently most people just get their independence recently, so the Europeans really did a lot of harm than good. It's called social engineering. They sat down and planned this out. It's like, you can have all the power, you can have all the security in your house and plan out to rob you. It's likely they can succeed simply because you are not aware. It makes it really difficult because the enemy basically tries to study you for a long period of time and make their execution once you are not aware. If you become aware of who your enemy is, it basically helps you plan, have things to actually also make sure you can protect yourself and don't get defeated or taken for granted. So most African countries did not really expect this whole thing. And like I said, the Europeans planned this out for so many years. They came in as missionaries, came back as traders. All this while they had a plan, whilst we were not aware of their plan. So it is it is something that we can really talk about this, but just calling, just like you have the link, calling and let us know what you think, and it still exists today. But just calling. That's the link right there. Just hit on the link and calling. And they were not even countries. Like somebody said, they were not countries. It was just colonies. They were not countries at that time. So they can basically go pick somebody from a small village from somewhere in Benin, and it's something we got to talk about. Hi, thanks for joining, Bijou Noir. Thanks for joining.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. This is your first time calling in, but I always see you in the comment section.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I enjoy your show. You seem to be very candid or open to being candid. So I like watching it. I thought about your question, and it's really a weird question to ask the
Okay.
person that was in the receiving end of it's like asking a child that was abandoned, why did your parents abandon you?
Thank you.
It's not something that we could really answer. We could, we know what was told to us. We know what was suggested in history, when we learned history. I mean, I think a couple of us might have heard, you were sold. And once you hear that, even if you hear other things, you kind of shut down and you don't want to hear nothing else. You know what I mean? It's just like if a child gets abandoned and somebody say you were adopted, and you just stop listening. You know what I mean? Even if you are. So yeah, it's not something that we could really answer honestly. I could try to be a good person right now and say Africa was in a situation themselves. They were struggling. They were, dealing with colonialism. I know all the right answers to say that they were trying to, keep their bearings, out of sight, out of mind. I could try to come up with all the right things to say. But in all honesty, there's no reason why. Because even in the 50s and 60s, when Africa started to get its freedoms or from colonialism, it would have been a great opportunity to say, okay, and you have our people, the people that were taken across the ocean. Why didn't we need them to understand that this is home? Okay, so they didn't do it then.
Mhm.
What did you learn in school about your people? Did they teach you? Did they say when you go to America to make sure that, I mean, is this something that that, you know, your parents, your teachers, your instituted in you to say, hey, if you ever make it to the Americas, make sure you let them know that they have a home. Um, that didn't happen, and it should have happened. We really can't do anything about that. I'm starting to think that for whatever reason, I don't believe in spiritual control, but I truly feel like our people at home and abroad have been under a spell. I mean, because it's happening in Libya right now. We have brothers and sisters being sold, and nobody's doing anything about it.
Now, you said something about you know, when you finally make it to the US, did they tell you, you know, you got to tell your brothers at home and all this stuff? Now that's just me. There's a lot of people on the continent that have no idea about the African diaspora history.
Where did you get your understanding from?
I learned it my own. I went to school, and one thing I realized is even in our education system, it was still given to us by, you know, the colonizers. Therefore, curriculum, there's so many stuff that has been taken away, which despite you going to school, you don't get to learn these stuff unless you find it out yourself.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, you
Mhm.
had to learn on your own, but I mean, did you ever wonder when you were in Africa prior to learning, when you came here, did you ever wonder what happened? Did you not hear from your people, your village, your people, your family? Did they ever talk about those people that was taken away?
Never.
Isn't that something? That's abandonment. That's abandonment. And so that's why you see all the frustration. Africa have to atone. And I'm not saying they have to come to every African American and say, I'm sorry, but we struggle as a people because we're not connecting. And the fact that, you know, you had millions of people brutally taken from a continent, and and I'm not talking about you in particular. And I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
talking about no individual person in
yeah,
particular,
I
but
know.
us as a whole. You know, like I said, people are still being taken advantage of in Libya. And we all
Saudi
just sitting
Arabia.
and nobody's doing anything about it. And this is why they don't respect us as a people. And this is why this has to change. This has to change because that question you're asking, no one. I mean, we could really try. We can make the best attempts to try to answer this. And I know all the right things to say to make it seem like I'm balanced in this right now. But in all actuality, we need our brothers and sisters on the continent to answer that question. Now, you may ask me, why didn't I come home when we were free?
No,
I
I
can
know the
answer
answer
that
to that.
question. Yeah,
I
I can
know.
answer that question because that's a question that's where the position that I was in. You
Okay,
know,
go ahead.
we didn't come home because we were afraid. We didn't come home because we were told that home we were sold by the people that were there. We didn't come home because we felt abandoned by a country and people that did not care or want us there. We didn't come home because we were told of the poverty, the suffering. And then when we saw Africans coming to the countries, different countries, wherever they may come, to Europe, to America, to even the islands, they seem so distant and sometimes even look down at us. So I could answer that question. But the other question, that's for you. And for my other brothers and sisters on the continent. And this is amazing because you know what? This is exactly what we need to be talking about. You didn't reach out to us because it wasn't something that was talked about in your living room. It wasn't talked about in the villages. It wasn't talked about under the trees. It's not something that your culture made important. And that's the honest truth. The white man Yeah, he owes us nothing. He's preserving himself. The Mzungu is supposed to do that. We're just not doing a good job of that. That has to change. And I see it changing now. This is evidence that it's changing now. So thank you.
I'm emotional right now, but I could see, I could feel it. It's just we've come afar, and I appreciate this.
It
I
hurts,
appreciate it.
I really want I want our people to understand that until we care about each other or start pretending that we care about each other, no one else owes us any care. We can't even be angry at them for not caring or respecting us because it's us. It has to start with us. I'm just very happy. I'm sad because this question brings some feelings. I
Yeah.
have to be completely honest that I do see a flood of change. And, and I don't know if it was a spell that we were under and now we're awakening. But I thank all the creators, for this opportunity to get to know my brothers and sisters. And I want to say this because I say this many times and I need to keep saying this. The reason that we're going back home is because we want to be with our people. It's not about land. It's not about the ocean. It's not about the sea. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now I'm really in my feelings right now. If you want to call in, just call in. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. If you are an African on the continent, please call in. Please call in. Please call in. Let's listen to you as well. But this is a therapy session for all of us, and I think we need it. It's really important. Her message was really deep, and I just felt it. This is something we need to talk about, and you know, just call in, however you feel. Just call in and express it. It's very important that you call in and express however you feel. This platform is for you to do so. Express however you feel about this. It's really important. I believe it's a therapy section we have and it's still a medium for us to really stay connected. Hi, thank you, Empress. How you doing?
Greetings, greetings. I'm wonderful. Give thanks, give thanks. I just wanted to say that I do agree with the sister and the brother that came on
Okay.
before. And I am in America. I'm joining you from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I have to agree. Number one, um, from the time that we were taught in schools in America
Okay.
about our history, the beginnings of our history, what we were taught in schools, it started with slavery. We were not taught anything about where we came from, how we got here, why they took us, how they benefited from taking us. It wasn't until you get into higher education, into college, when you decide to take Black history, African history, these types of things, that you begin to learn the truth of what happened. Now, my question is, where would Africa be right now? Because I look at other countries and
Mm-hmm.
their rate of development, and I see how far they've come. How far would we have come as African people if our people were not taken away
Okay.
from the land, whether it be taken or sold? People are not going to agree with me. Oh, they weren't kidnapped, they were sold. Whatever the case may be, we are not home. We're not with our people. I agree with the young lady that came on before. My desire to return home is because, number one, I want to be with my people, people who look like me, talk like me, walk like me, think like me. I've been living amongst the Mzugus, whatever you want to call them, for so many years. I'm 46 years old in America, and I've lived amongst these devils. When you think about the things that they do and they continue to do to our people in this land, it's atrocious.
Okay.
But when we come to Africa and we tell you, listen, don't trust them because of the experience that we've had with them, and we tell you, don't trust them, they've done this, they've done that, then we come under attack. I watch all the time what they're doing to the lady in Gambia, Art Kathy, who's trying to tell people, listen, this is what they do. And people come and attack her because she's telling the truth of the experiences that she's had. She's not making this up. It's happened. We've seen it. We've lived it. And in this moment, when we want to come home, we don't want to come home and endure it again, to go through it again, to see our people on the continent go through it again. Now, I do agree that in Africa, they were dealing with a lot of colonialism. In the 60s, like the brother said, a lot of countries weren't getting their freedom until around the 60s. But like the sister said, why wasn't there even a symbolic question to or symbolic effort? Give us our people back, because we were taken. Okay. And I did see in the comments, somebody said, we're still here because we haven't been paid reparations. I don't think we'll ever get it. There'll be no reparations paid. That's just a L we'll have to take. However, what we do have and what we've gained across the diaspora is we've gained skills, knowledge, resources, wealth, all of these things that we can take home in order to help to build the 54 countries of Africa. The issue is you have Africans in America that will not even identify with Africa at all, no matter how dark their skin is. I'm not African, because it's a mentality. They've been taught to hate Africa, to hate the blackness within themselves. So we have a long way to go. But I feel like we're not going to get there until we go home. My saying is my ancestors will not rest until I go home. But I want to hear from some Africans on the continent about their thoughts, because like the lady said, it's like, I feel like my mother threw me out and didn't think of me again. Just throw the baby out the door. And that's how I feel about being taken, myself, my ancestors, being taken from the continent. And then there's been no effort, none whatsoever, to help us to return home, or even encourage us to return
home.
Yes. Yes. But I think considering that some of these countries only had their independence beginning in the 50s and the 60s, we're in 2020. What about now?
No.
What about now? Now is the time, I think. And that's why I'm making my efforts to come home. I want my children, I want my son and my daughter to experience life being in the majority, because we live in the minority here. And we're always watching over our shoulders. We're always second guessing. We're always suffering microaggressions from the others who don't like us simply because of the color of our skin. So, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and I just wanted to say, one of the things about, that you said, they didn't make any little effort. I can applaud the new Ghana president for, what he did about traveling to all the Caribbeans, through all the diaspora countries to say, hey, you know, come back home. Even if it was, people say, well, he did that for money and other stuff, but purposely, to me, it was a sign of encouragement and unity for
Exactly.
people to come. And a lot of people came back and realized, wow, I can really do it. You see what I'm saying? I can really
Exactly.
come back home. You know,
Exactly.
we just waiting for the rest of the other president to also take the mantle and say, hey, we got to also push the same thing.
Yeah. Yes. I think one of the biggest issues is the lack of unity on the continent as well. There's a disconnect. There's not much unity
Mm-hmm.
among the people on the continent, which how can we expect as African Americans to be welcomed and united when I was in a chat and there was a comment and somebody said that they didn't like the fact that I was speaking about the African experience in America. So they told me, why don't you leave and go to a Black American channel? So that, and I was like, wait, but aren't we all African? Aren't we all from the continent of Africa? This tells me that I'm not one of them. Okay. This tells me that I am not one of them. So how is it that you can tell me I'm not one of you when
And
you're
you look
looking?
so and you look so Nigerian too.
Give thanks, give thanks. Actually, actually, I've had my DNA. I've had my DNA test done, and yes, there's Nigerian blood running through my veins.
And in Ghana, you'll probably be an Ewe, from the tribe.
Ah,
Yeah, if
I
from the
don't know
Volta
Ghana.
region.
Yes, there's Ghanaian. There's about 38% Nigerian, 33% Ghanaian. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
there's so yes, I
And to the this unity on the African continent, when you pay attention, happened after colonization that they really did that really brought a lot of harm to us in terms of coming together is demarcating us into countries. When you look at countries like Gambia, Seychelles, all these are just cities because how can a population of 2 million people, a million people be a country? When you these small countries and you separate them, you telling them, hey, you different from these people, you different from that people. So
yes.
I mean, that's one of the major things we have to combat.
Well,
The
that's
borders.
what they yes, that's what they do. They even did that here in America. They told us that we were different. They separated us into quadroons and octoroons and all of that based upon the tint of your skin. So by doing those divides, they would tell us that you're not like them. You're better or you're worse to prevent that unity from happening. So one of the things that we have to do is we have to learn how to unite. And it's
Okay.
so hard to unite when you have the enemy in your ear, the enemy in your ear controlling your narrative. So what we have to do is we have to tell our own story. We have to tell our own stories. We have to write our own history. And we have to be the creators of our own fate. And in order to do that, we have to be self-determined. And that's why I put Africa first, Africa before everything,
Hmm.
Africa before everything.
Thank you
So thank
so much.
you.
Thank you
You're
so
very
much.
welcome. Thank you
Thank
for
you
hearing
so
me.
much. Thank you. Thank you. This calling, trust me, today's life is crazy. It's really informative. True Matters, you gotta fix your cam and mic to be able to join. You need to connect your mic and cam to be able to join Truth Matters. Kindly connect so I can add you. But call in. We have some spaces available. Just call in. All those who are waiting, I'm sorry, the conversation was going to, it was very informative, and I appreciate y'all for waiting, but just call in. Just call in. That's the link. Click on it and join the stream. Let us listen to what you want to say. And if you are on the African continent or if you are an African, call in and let's listen to you as well. We just want to hear from you. We just want to hear you talk as well. Just calling, just calling, just calling. That's the link right there. Calling, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, just go ahead and do it. But please click on the link and calling. Calling. I really apologize to all those who couldn't wait. Uh, but hey, brother Anthony, how you doing?
Uh, I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Thanks for joining. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thanks for joining. So, you already know what we're talking about, right? Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We're waiting
Oh,
to, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I just wanted to say that I appreciate what you're doing. I'm calling from Houston, Texas. I
Okay,
did go to Ghana for the year of return last year.
okay.
Uh, it was really nice. I believe the first video that I saw of yours, you had explained how most African Americans that want to repatriate to the continent are like pro-black or pan-Africanist, and you were saying that that's the mindset that we have, and it's not everyone is like that, or the majority of people are not like that on the continent. And for me, when I watched that video, um, it was really nice to hear you acknowledge that coming from someone that's from the continent, to understand how our mind frame is. Most of us that would, because I agree that most of us that would come there does have this pro-black pan-Africanist mind frame. And just me being there, I was there last year. I stayed there 16 days, and which is not a lot of time, but I was able to observe as much as I could, and we as people face the same thing in different forms, and
Mm-hmm.
we just have to actually get with like-minded people, because everybody is not on this same wave. Everyone is not on the same frequency. So as far as like trying to trust each other and build some type of bridge for business. Relationships, that benefits us both. You just have to find those people, and because everyone is not gonna, everyone that can be saved, everyone is not trying to save us. Some people are just trying to eat, and I understand that, and everyone has their position. But as long as we continue to build, for example, like what you're doing right now is a really good thing. You know what I'm saying? Because us here in America, I'm an African American, so I'm speaking for us on our side and saying that, like, we're really paying attention to what's going on there. We're really interested in coming back there. You guys welcome me with open arms, but we do have to find good people on both sides to really bridge a gap and create something better for us both, for real. But I just wanted to say that, man, that I appreciate what you're doing, and thanks for your channel.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that input. I really appreciate those words as well. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you too.
All right. Hi, Cooper. How you doing?
Hey, Daniel. I just wanted to speak for a quick moment on this topic.
Okay.
Um, I never really, my views is a little different than some of your previous callers. I never really looked and
Mm-hmm.
felt resentment or felt like, why didn't they come for us? Because I saw what they were doing to us here. So I could only imagine what they were doing to them there. I saw the divide and conquer tactics they were using here, and logic just tells me that they were more than likely using the same divide and conquer tactics there. I mean, and even if you look at today, right now, for instance, if America were to decide to come into Ghana and steal a large portion of their population and bring them back to America,
Mm-hmm.
Ghana's army can't contend with America's army.
Mm-hmm.
So who else on the continent would say, we'll go with you, Ghana, to go and get your people? We don't do that now here as African Americans. We see a child taken away from Pennsylvania, people in Georgia, people in California, we don't all band together to ride up to Jersey to go and find out what happened to that child. It's just not something that happens. And I think it's just the mentality that they imposed on us of, if it's not me, it's not my problem, as opposed to us having a community mindset of, if it's one of us, then it affects all of us. And I just looked at it as, I've seen it here. I've seen the effects of it here. I can only assume the same effects were had there. And then as years went on, the divide just got bigger and bigger until, I mean, it's like a fourth or fifth cousin that you don't really know, but you know that that's your blood, but you don't really feel a connection to that person. I just
Mhm.
took it as that's what it wound up becoming. And it wasn't by accident, it was by their design.
Mhm. Mhm. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. This topic is really sensitive, so I try not to talk too much about it. I just want to hear the flow from different people. Um, you
Feel you.
know.
It's because I feel some people do feel hurt and they feel like, why didn't they? And like I said, I can only imagine why they didn't. I mean, like some of the other callers mentioned, look at what's going on in Libya right now. Like, which countries are going to decide to, because this is the thing. And what we just saw what happened with Breonna Taylor is very telling. Now, everybody, I don't know who exactly was expecting that black man, that attorney, to be the savior because he was black, to be the one to make sure she got justice. When we keep forgetting, not all skin folk are kinfolk. Let's be real. There have always been some of us that would side with them over us. That's just the fact. It's always been the case. It will
Mm.
probably always be the case. However, those of us who are more community minded, who are more interested in reaching out and being with our brothers and sisters, who have thrown off those mental shackles that they constantly placed us in. And let's be real, the propaganda is still real even now today. They're always going to try to keep us divided because that's what works best for them. So at the end of the day, um, we can't change the past. We can't change what happened before. We'll never know. They've made sure we will never know all of the details of everything that happened because they've designed it. Even if you go to college or anything right now, 9 times out of 10, it wasn't one of us you're learning this history from. It wasn't one of us who were the anthropologists who are going and discovering whatever they say or claim they're discovering. It's not us who are writing these books. So we're always going to pretty much have to take their versions of events, and they made it that way for a reason, to keep us divided. But we don't know particularly what happened in the past, why it happened in the past, but we can deal with today. And what I can say about today and now is I don't agree with automatic citizenship, because some people, I feel, just like, let's be real, 9 times out of 10 it's not going to apply only to us. So I don't want others having that ability of automatic citizenship. But what I can say is, for the African diaspora, there should be something set aside to say for our people who are stolen, because our ancestors didn't go voluntary. Whether you say sold, whether you say stolen, for those people who did not leave voluntarily, their descendants should have an easier path to citizenship. I won't say automatic. I will say the path should be easier. It should not be as long as what it is in many countries. I do feel that they can at least say, hey, us that are alive today aren't sure of everything that happened back then. We don't know all of the details. We don't understand how this disconnect happened, why we never came from you for you, but this is what we can do now.
Right.
This is how we
Right.
can help you get back here. This is how we can bring you back into the fold. And I really think that that would help heal some of the hurt that some of us have from that feeling of abandonment. But that was all I wanted to say, Dan. You're doing a good job. Keep up the good work. I like the dialogue.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that's why I always say, I always applaud what Nana Akufo-Addo did, the Ghana president, for, trying to, bring all the diaspora together and say, hey, you can return back to Africa, you can return back to Ghana. And Ghana actually had the right of our boat program to help, the diaspora to return. But I honestly don't know what happened to that program. It didn't really, become effective like it should. But I just believe at a gradual step, other African countries would take heed and also implement those strategies as well. But the hope for me is, if we can come together, the African Union should basically try and maybe just, take away the borders. I think it will create more a unity perspective for the people on the African continent, because to this day, Ghanaians feel they are different from Nigerians. Nigerians feel they are not the same as Ghanaians. And the main reason is because of, the borders and how, the colonizers actually set this whole thing up. When you think about it, it's like a social thing that has been engineered so well to a extent where it just needs unity to overcome it.
Oh, they were very effective. They knew what they were doing, and they did it for a reason, and it has caused us generations and generations of turmoil. They meant to do that because it's done nothing but benefit them. No matter what continent you go to, it's kept us down and benefited them. Any other continent you go to, even in the African continent, you can see white privilege. It's a thing. They designed and engineered it that way for a reason. So those of us who are waking up, those of us who are awoke, just need to come together, because I honestly believe if those of us in the diaspora and enough people who have awakened on the continent come together and say to these governments there that this is what we all want, then I believe it can happen. Long as we're just knocking at the door, it's just us knocking at the door. It's just the outsiders knocking at the door. But when the people on the ground there say, we want our brothers and sisters to have an easier assimilation, to have an easier path to citizenship and coming home, that's when I think we'll really start to see change.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right. Stay blessed.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Danielle. Finally, I know you've invited us on many
Yeah, there's a
times.
lot of people in waiting, so I just go by step. So all those waiting, please be patient. I'll never skip you. But thanks for
I
joining.
had to get off a few times because my battery died, but I just want to commend you
Okay.
for doggedly keeping this topic
Okay.
going. What I'd like to see is for you to do a forum with
Okay.
as many YouTubers that are in place currently. The young lady from Haiti, I can't remember her YouTuber name, site, but she's always extremely thoughtful.
Okay.
And getting emotional about this is extremely important. We have stuffed down and dismissed our emotions on this issue, but this is a serious issue. I know it because when I got my DNA done, I was in tears. I was able to see what nobody had ever told me. So it's not unusual for people not to know anything. And I was born in South America. I've lived in America 47 years, but I was born in another place. So in terms of the African continent, I cannot wait to get there because it goes deep and beyond all the miseducation I've had. And I've been very well educated, so have my family members, but we've been very well miseducated. I was born in what was called British Guyana. It's now called Guyana. And I could tell you that British history was a fake, and that's what we were fed. Lucky for me, we had a black headmistress. I went to private school, and a black prime minister at the time I was in school, and so they were able to influence our history. What I found out made me very fascinated with history and knowing who I was. And as I waited for the sister prior to me, I I made some notes, and at the head of it, I'd really like for you to pursue a forum, Danielle,
Okay.
because we really need to do this.
Okay.
It's crucial on so many ends, and I have several things that I noted as people spoke. I'm going to address something that is probably being discussed in right now with the debate. I do not look at TV. I'm not interested in the current elections. I wouldn't waste my time. I don't see either candidate as one that I should waste my time. And so my focus is on Africa. That
Okay.
being said, reparations is important. You would
Okay.
only say it's not important if you do not understand your history. When people work, they ought to get paid. All of us work, we get paid. No matter if we're working for ourselves or we're working for somebody, work deserves payment. And people worked for free in the Caribbean, in Africa, and are still working in a lot of cases for pittances in Africa, and also in America, especially in America. They must be paid. There is no negotiating that they ought to be paid. Now, what people don't know, a lot of Americans are unaware of the fact that Lincoln, realizing that the slaves were free with nothing, no place to live, no tools, no nothing,
Mhm.
he did come up with something. And that's where the concept of 40 acres a mule, and do not omit this part, $100 US. People always say for 40 acres and a mule, but they forget that $100. Now, were you to get an actuarial scientist to calculate that in today's money, that's a lot of money. The worth of an acre, the worth of a mule is big money. America can spend a lot of money on wars very easily, and makes every excuse to give Black Americans or Native Black Americans or fundamental Black Americans. Pick any one of those you wish. They do deserve to get their money. Now, I wouldn't be entitled to that because I was born in the Caribbean as such. I was born in Guyana. I need to get my Guyanese or my Caribbean. And let me clarify something right here, right now. Jamaica is not the Caribbean. Jamaica is one country, one island in the Caribbean. The Caribbean is ruled by an organization called CARICOM. It's similar, but very small, to the African Union, the European Union. And so we must understand that we must have unity to get reparations from any of these colonizers, the worst of whom were the Dutch, followed by the British, the Spanish. All of them are culpable. And we need not to say we don't want that reparations. The reason is Belgium is not the way it is just for so. I've traveled through Europe and I could tell you, those European capitals glisten. France was rebuilt and glistened. They're beautiful. Belgium is beautiful, but it was built on the backs of the people of the Congo.
Okay.
Cars run on rubber from the people of the Congo's resources. When you go to the Congo, you see people with limbs off.
Yeah.
They were punished for being rebellious. They were punished for just standing up. So to the Belgian people, Leopold II, to be exact. And so we must never give up the fight for reparations, because had people given up the fight for liberation of slavery, for abolition of slavery, we wouldn't even be talking here today. We'd still be enslaved. So it's very important to not negate your value as an African person anywhere in this world. Because as we look at Africa today, some countries are doing well. But look at the
Hold on for a
massive.
second. You have
Pardon me?
hold on for a second. You have 2 minutes. There's a lot of people on here, so If you can
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I'm going to run through some of the things I wanted to address.
Okay.
The influence of South Africa on the AU, the African Union,
Okay.
and how strangulated that is. How our history was replaced by religion, and we still support that today. The bravery of the Haitian people, who are always diminished. You very rarely hear people talking about that revolution, but it was a powerful revolution that set in place a lot of things. So, we need to be aware, and let me tie up this with talking about Africa and Africans going to Africa.
Okay.
America's wealth for Black people is 1/2 of 1%. I'm going to repeat that, 1/2 of 1%. So Black Americans do not have wealth. They do not. And they are not leaving to go to Africa because they are in romance with Africa. They're going to Africa out of desperation. And you probably have seen my comments stating that we need to be granted refugee status. And I say we, I'm talking about Black Americans. I don't want them to be assessed based on a record, a criminal record, because in many cases they were framed and put in jails and institutionalized. So that has to be examined. But I'm just saying, we're coming with some sort of money, but we're not coming wealthy. We're not Gates level. We're not Facebook levels. And so Africans on the other side, we have to get an adjustment of thought, because this taking people for granted or thinking they're coming with wealth and we could take advantage of them has to stop. That's where we can start actually really welcoming and not taking advantage. But it's land where people are taking money for land they know they can't sell, or trying to hustle people when they get there. And it's just too much to talk about. But the last thing I'm going to say, please, people, read Dr. Claude Anderson's work. Dr. Claude Anderson is probably one of the best people could, whose books people can read. And they'll see what American history was and how devastated Black Americans were, or African Americans were. And that will help you understand the predicament, coupled with the visual slaughter daily of Americans, that sends the fear of God into you. And that's one of the reasons people have to escape. Thanks, Daniel. Good to talk to you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That was a lot to learn that you just shared here.
Okay. Thanks, Daniel. Take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was a lot of information, but thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is Derek Watson. Hi, Derek.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm speaking. The name is Derek Watson. I'm speaking from Ghana.
Okay. So hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. Let me introduce you to the people, because they wanted to actually get feedback from people from the African continent. So if you're watching this is Derek Watson from Ghana. Truth Matters, son. I will add you soon. Right after Derek Watson, you are next. So Derek Watson is actually calling from Ghana. Thanks for joining, Derek Watson. You can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I think the problem with our people is we do not know our history. And I think over about 3 years of doing my studies, I've come to the realization that we are, majority of our problem can be solved by us. I think we keep on fixating on the oppressor, and like we are somehow obsessed. There is this love and hate for the white man, and I think it's not only on the African continent. I think it's in the diaspora too, also. And we must understand why Egypt fell and why the Carthage Empire fell, because these two empires are one of the main African empires that have ever rose up. And the reason why they fell, first of all, because most of us do not know, the greatest foundation of our people, wherever we are in the world, is the family. The reason why the Egyptians and the Carthage fell is the introduction of what I call as confusion. And the confusion is brought out by us interacting with other people coming from other places, in the sense of intermarrying with other people. I mean, we live on the most diverse continent, and people are seeking diversity in the diaspora. And I am amazed by this. If you are not in love with the women that are closer to you, there are vast varieties of Black women or African women, even in Africa. Because the Ethiopian woman may be different from the Ivorian woman, may be different from a Nigerian man. But a Nigerian man will travel from Nigeria and go to the UK to engage in a relationship with a white woman. And then out of this, they will bring these offsprings who are going to be educated and trained by the mothers, because mothers nurture children. And the problem with that is that because we are not trained to pass down our culture, so men are not obligated. It's women that pass down, train children with their culture. We are supposed to give discipline. So these children are then left to these white women. These white women do not instill in these children that they are Africans or they are Black. So these children are made to feel that they are in the middle, and there's nothing as middle, as I always say. That's why somehow when I hear people like in the diaspora talking, even though they are speaking from a mindset of the white, I can say the Western mindset, because and I do believe that even most of us on the continent, because of religion, we even speak, we have exchanged our culture with that of religion, and we have lost our identity. You see, when the Romans and the Greeks began interacting with the Egyptians, you know, what happened after the Egyptian empire fell? What happened was that these Africans, they started to leave their cultures, they started to leave their identities, and they started to seek for citizenship from Greek and Rome. So you see, everything that is happening to us is nothing new under the sun, but somehow we pretend that it is new. You see, we are not the first, the people in the diaspora are not the first people to be taken out of Africa. You see, you see, right now, I think when the slavery was going on, we saw that the best among us were taken. Now you see that the best among us are not already taken. I call them the runaways. They themselves are taking themselves to go outside because they do not have faith in Africa. And after learning 20 to 30 years in Africa, what saddens me the most is that these people come back. They do not come back to even apply the knowledge that they have. They come back to spend 2 or 3 years of their life just to die. And what even saddens me more is that they want to be buried on cemeteries, not even in the soil that are going to be grown, so that they can provide a little wealth to us on the continent. So you are going to live 70 years of your life complaining and whining about your country, and you do not even contribute anything. So I say we the new generation.
No investment, nothing.
I say we the new generation needs to become the new frontier. We shouldn't be waiting on these old people, because these old people have failed on us just as theirs failed on them. And if we keep on waiting for the baton to be handed to us, we are going to get there, and our children is also going to complain that we too have failed them. So we need to take this baton. I think we have become so timid and docile, and I think religion is the main factor for this. But you see, in Africa, we have been so socialized to think that anytime everyone starts to criticize religion in any way, there is this factor to either to destroy that person or to separate yourself from that person. So even if I'm having conversation with my colleagues and my friends about some using our when I was very, very young, you know, I wanted to discover who I was. I wanted to discover who I was as a person, as a man, because I saw that there was something. I think there are some of us who are born with rebel spirit in us. Everything that was being taught in schools and everything, I felt that there was more to being who I was. But you see, as African people, the Ghanaians are made to think firstly of being Ashanti or being Ewe or being that first, and then to be even come to the stage of thinking that they are Ghanaian. So we are not even able to seeing that we are African first. And I think that is the main problem. If we are all socialized on the continent to see that we are African first, and that we do not owe any allegiance to any religion, our allegiance is only to Africa first, then to the African people, then we can have allegiance to the country of origin that we are from. And I think that is our own problem. And to continue from the to continue with that, I think some of us, they have instilled this fear, like through especially through Christianity. Whenever we begin to speak like ill-mannered or anything against our oppressors, there is this, oh, you shouldn't spread hate, or like this lifestyle that we should not do anything that has been done to us. Like there is this attack. You shouldn't talk anything bad about these people.
Yeah, you see, let me even speak on this. Let me touch on this. You see, one major problem on our continent, and I think most people will say, well, when you look at Saudi Arabia, they are Muslims and the country is developing. When you look at Israel, it's a Christian nation, their country. Well, if you look around the world, this is it. If you look around the world, every nation practice and serve their own God. The only place, the only continent, if you go to China, they serve Buddha that looks like them. If you go to India, Buddha looks like them. The only continent that when you go, that we have thrown everything from our culture, from our names, from everything, from our belief system, even our food, our local food are now being pushed away for foreign food. And when you pay attention to this, we can only understand who we are if we can just reject all foreign, from the foreign religion, which is the foreign God, from the foreign mindset, and go back to what we actually had. Even the first Roman Catholic church that was built in Ghana was built near a shrine. And the Pope at that time said, let's build a church here because that's where the real power is. There were so many Germans who came to Ghana to buy our spirituality and took it to Germany. You see what I'm saying?
Brother, brother, you see, there is this history about Ghana that we are not being taught in school. You see, especially about this mixture of races. When the Dutch came to Ghana, the children that they created they created children with the locals, and even some of these women were also sold back even into slavery after taking care of their children for some years. You see, these children were used as tools to bridge the gap between them and the locals, and they even used these children to deceive some of the locals so that they will get access to their minerals and the rest. But you see, we are not being taught about this history. We are not being taught about this history, and I think, you see, we are people that keep on repeating our mistakes because we do not know about history. So when the Nigerian is talking about his history, he thinks it began from independence. When the Ghanaian is talking about his history, he thinks that his history is about the Ewe and the Ashantis. He does not think that the Ewe and the Ashantis came from a place. They came from the old Ghana Empire, and those old Ghana Empire also came from somewhere. We need to go to the origin of our history. You see. And what we were saying is, I was having a conversation with a fellow brother of mine. I used to attend church, but now
2 minutes. There's a lot of people here, but
okay. And we were having this conversation of why we need to portray the image of Jesus as white, because even looking at where they say Jesus was born, they do not look white. And he was saying that, oh, it doesn't matter. He said it will confuse you. Like, we have this mindset that it doesn't matter. Then I say, okay, if it doesn't matter, when you close your eyes to pray to God, the man that you see on the throne, because we believe that there is a man on the throne, what do you see? And I said to him, tell me this truth. Promise and swear to yourself to tell me this truth. Do you not see a white man with a white beard and a crown on his head sitting on that white throne? If you say I'm lying, tell me. And he said, but that doesn't matter. And I said, why is that you cannot envision God in your own image? If you know that the first man was created in Africa, why is it that you cannot envision God in your own image? Why is it that you cannot envision the so-called Adam and Eve in your own image? Why can't God be black? Why do you not see that even the origin of religion and even spirit, the spirituality that we are speaking from originated from Africa? And he was so confused. You see, there is the factor that you should not talk about it. We have this mindset that if we do not know, you should not talk about it. So we cannot challenge the status quo. So we are, it's with this ignorance of us that we continue to repeat the mistake that keeps on ending. And I also wanted to speak to the diaspora. You see, we must
just make your
yes, this message
your
is for the diaspora, especially the younger generation. I think you see, we must understand that these people will never give you people equality, because in their subconscious they equate the equality with your supremacy, because they understand that they are not creative, innovative as you people are. So they need to monopolize on your talents and everything in order for them to advance as a people. So these people are doing what they want, they need to survive. So it's high time we do what we need to survive as a people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Derek. Thank you so much. I appreciate this input, and stay blessed.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir.
Hey, Danny, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing? Son, you are the next.
Oh, yeah. What I want to say is, I'm calling from Canada, but I'm in Nigeria. So,
okay.
I think some few days I make a comment on your page about there are some Africans too that they took their family, right? I'm one of them. If you remember, that's oh yeah. Because when you look at what a lot of people don't understand, that the history never been told. Because I was listening to what a lot of people were saying, like the African never asked for them. My hometown is Abeokuta in Ogun State. We suffer slavery more than any. I'm a Yoruba man. Well, we suffer slavery more than any ethnicity in Nigeria, in all Africa, because we live near the ocean. So they took a lot of our people. That's why you see in Brazil, they have a Yoruba religion, in Cuba and other places. But my hometown, which is Abeokuta, is suffer most, because when you go there now, you see a lot of people as like Portuguese name. They have foreign names. Because you know what happened is when they raid my hometown, a lot of people fight back. When they took the whole family, that they have to ship some to Caribbean, ship them to America, ship them to South America. But that's why when you look at Sierra Leone, you will see like a lot of my tribe, they are in Sierra Leone, because when the British intercepted the ship. But one thing I want to clear in the here is like people in Africa, they ask for people that they sent out of Africa. They were, because in my family, I have a lot of my family history. There's so many people that they took out of my family that they shipped them out. We don't even know. My family don't know where they are. In my hometown, 80% of people live there are enslaved. They took them out. They shipped them to the Caribbean. They shipped them. That's why in Jamaica, we have Abeokuta, my hometown. They have it in Jamaica. You can research it. You can research it. They have my hometown, Abeokuta. They have it in Jamaica. So when you look at it, even in Brazil, they have, you know, there's Oyo Empire. There's Oyo is Yoruba Empire. They have Oyo in Brazil. So when you look at it, it's like there's a lot of history that they're not being told, because they play games in between the diaspora and the Africans. The game is they want the diaspora to feel like, oh, you know what? You better thank us because we bring you here. You're better than those who in Africa, because your family in Africa, they are evil. They are the one that did this to you. But they never said, you know what? Those one in Africa, they fight back. Because when even the slave, those who are selling people, if you go and look at the history, after you done research Madame Tinubu, she was a slave trader in Lagos. Okay. So she sell people. That's what she do, to sell people. But after she realized that these people she's selling, they were taking them to the New World and they maltreating them. You know what she said? She joined the abolition. Like she don't want to be a part of it anymore. That the British need to stop and the Portuguese need to stop. They need to bring all these people back. But what happened is like when Africans try to fight back, like you need to bring our people back. Even when you look at Lagos State, before Lagos was Lagos State, before the British came, there was a king in Lagos. They call him Kosoko. He used to sell people. his own people, they fight against him. They fight him. That's why his ancestor, they will never become a king in Lagos State today, because they fight back. So when they ship all these people, so when all this group in my hometown to today, when they try to be developing Nigeria, they try to build a railway line past my hometown. The king refused. He said because they did it during the slavery, they raided the whole town. Like this time, he's not going to agree with them to build a train. So that's what they want to use again to took all the indigenous of this town. So that's why in my hometown in Abeokuta, that's why there's no railway, there's no train pass by, there's no hospital, there's no, what do they call it? There's no federal hospital there because he refused. It's maybe some few years ago, that's where they have university there. He refused. He said, no, anything that come from like European concept, he doesn't want it, because he said they don't come here to do good. And when you look at my hometown, when the missionaries came to Africa, my hometown is the first place they settled down. In Abeokuta, you can research it. That's the first place the missionaries settled down, and they do a lot of stuff. So when you look at it, it's like when you look at European mindset, they like to manipulate stuff. So when the European want to say, they were like, oh, black men, they don't like to stay with the women. So what about the Europeans that have a lot of kids in Africa? They abandoned it. So what of them? There's many of them. You go to Calabar in Nigeria, half of Calabar is their father Europeans. So what of them? But they always want to paint black people against each other, like, oh, what do they call it? We're not good. When you look at their history, they will tell you, oh, Mango Park discovered River Niger. River Niger was there before. He never discovered anything. He's been assist before Mango Park.
So what you're saying is there were so many people that actually fought back. You know, when
there were so many people, yes,
that actually fought back.
You know what happened? Those who that fought back, they took them too and enslaved them. They shipped them out. There were so many people that fought back, but those who that fought back, those who that fought back, they kidnapped them and put them on the slave ship.
Now let me ask you this. There's a lot of African diaspora who, you know, have this emotions and feelings and say, well, you know, after, let's say, the brothers and sisters from your tribe that were taken, right? They were taken from your hometown. Now, let's say after so many years, their question is, why didn't, you know, the chiefs and the, you know, local authorities and the president say, well, you know, we just got our independence and it's about time we reach out to bring them back home. Why didn't this type of things happen?
Okay, let me analyze something for you.
Okay.
When you look at the history, when you look at it, when Africa deal with slavery, after slavery, what next? Colonialization. Colonization lasts what? 100 years in some African country, some 150 years. So after, even though Africa got independent, when you look at a country like Nigeria, we got independent in 1960. But 1963, what happened? Civil war. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, we don't even know what we're doing. It's like this destabilization going on between us. Because even though when you look at the state of Nigeria now, how did Nigeria want to invite people back? Nigeria population is 200 million. That's what they can count. They are more than that. But how do they want to invite people back? I'm in Nigeria. I go to Nigeria every year. I took my son, my 12-year-old son, I took him to Nigeria last year to go and see. But what people don't understand is, when you are in diaspora, if the only way, like I can speak from Nigeria, Nigerian government don't have a right for citizenship. Like me in my hometown, if you go there, people there can decide that, okay, these people, they are from here and we want to give them citizenship. But a lot of people don't do that way because they don't want to go there, because they listen to what the Western media said, like, oh, this country is bad, because they like to choose. Why did they paint Nigeria that Nigeria? Because Nigeria always fight back. You understand what I'm saying? But Nigerian government, if Nigerian government can reach back to anybody, because they don't, right now, we have the North that rule in Nigeria. What did they do? They rule Nigeria between the tribal line. So how did somebody, they're not asking for Nigeria because they are part of the slave traders. They are the one that read all this. Yeah. So why did they want to ask? But the only thing is, like, we have to build a bridge in between ourselves. We can't deceive ourselves. Like, you understand what I'm saying? I used to work with a lot of people, but they would tell me, "Oh, your family sell. Oh, you guys sold us." I'm like, "I didn't sell you, but they sold some of my family too. I'm a descendant of a slave too." So, but we don't. When we don't know where we go coming from, we don't know where we're going. That's the problem wrong with Black people. We don't want to work instead of us to work together, but we want people to. We want each other to work for each other. We want to be oppressive to each other. But this is the only way we can go. It's like when people reach out. When you want to reach out like a country like Nigeria, you don't reach out to Nigerian government. You reach out to the ethnicity, along ethnicity line. You understand what I'm saying? There's so many Americans in Nigeria that have Nigerian citizenship, but you have to reach out. When you go to Nigerian government, they make it there. It's a constitution. But when you have, like me now, I'm a Yoruba man. We have our home, what do they call it? When you go to Yoruba land, when they welcome you, they will like, okay, this is our son, is entitled to citizenship. So that's the way they do it. But I want people in the diaspora to know that people in Africa, they fight back. Those who fight back, they end up become a slave. They end up on a slave ship too. So they should not think like nobody sell them. When you look at it, nobody's going to, in their family, a lot of people lost many people in their family. They lost father, son, daughter. And can you imagine that? They separated. It's like they raid the whole family. They put one on the ship going to South America, another one going to North America, another one in the Caribbean. So they destabilize the whole family. So people fight back, and people ask of them. But Europeans ask them the way they do stuff, like they have to destabilize Africa. And it's like when you have a family, we from Africa, when we live in Western world, if things don't work for us, we're not gonna be happy. We're not gonna be able to help our family back home in Africa. That's the way it is. So even though sometimes when you go home, your family will like, oh, for how many years you ignore us, but they don't know that you have to deal with situations here. So I want people to know, like, people ask of them and people fight back, but they never tell you. There's no history. There is a lot of war that in Africa we defeat Europeans, but Europeans never made measure of it. They always write a story about how.
Okay. So basically, what you're saying is really right. I've heard so many stories about our people from the continent fighting back. A lot of British colonies were defeated, but those histories were not written and told simply because it would not favor. Because I know, for example, the Ashantis fought about 3 wars with the British, and they won about 2. You see what I'm saying? But those are not really written in history. And there's a lot of people who try to reach out, but the demographic was really hard to find out and say, well, Ghanaians are here, Nigerians are here, and all this stuff. So I really appreciate.
They sent it with the Benin Empire. Benin Empire defeated the British. But did the British why did they bomb Benin down in 18-something? But they never sell anybody, they loot Benin. When you go to British Museum, in their museum, they have all the artifacts there. Where did they get it from? From looting. But when you look at it now in the States where people riot, they burn stuff. They said, oh, Black people, they are anarchists, they are this. But guess what? They learn from the best. Because the white men, that's how they get their wealth. They will loot you. And when you don't want to submissive to them, they will kill you. That's what they did in Benin, during the Benin Empire. They burned the whole empire down. Benin Empire, before the Europeans came, they have their own roads. They have electricity. They generate their own light, everything. But when the British came, they came by force. Benin fight back and defeated. They went to go and reinforce. When you look at it, it's like there's so many histories, but they will tell the history that suit them so that you won't make them accountable for what they did. But one thing I want the whole Black people to know all over the world. There's no, at the end of the day, we are all the same family. So it doesn't matter if we speak French, we speak English. If we speak American English, British English, we are still the same. Because when the white man want to deal with us, I'm a Nigerian, my wife, she's African American, but we live in Canada. So when you look at it, when they want to deal with us, my daughter goes to school here. A lot in my neighborhood, there's so many Indians here. But what happened when one Indian girl, she told my daughter, I don't want to deal with Black people. You understand what I'm saying? These are 5-year-old kids. They already teach them how to hate. But guess what? What Black people we need to know, we come together now. We can't be talking all the time, or they treat us like this. We're going to be here for 100 years. We got to come. You know what is power? Economy is power. That's the key. When you come to Canada, Now the white men already lost this country to Indians. Indians own every goddamn in this country. Indian, Chinese, they own Canada. Go and research it. I live here. I live in Canada. But if black people we want to get ahead, we gotta come. We gotta play our games. Our games is we come together with economy power. That's how we can fight back. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. Stay blessed.
And you too, bro.
Yes, brother. Thanks for joining. Thanks for waiting for so long. I appreciate the patience.
Oh man, it's all good. Daniel, right?
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Today's conversation is too powerful. So I'm just relaxing and listening.
That's what's up, man. Yo, first of all, I want to say I appreciate the work that you're doing, man, and definitely new to your channel, but I'm locked in. And I just wanted to say I'm proud to say I'll be over in Rwanda, God willing, December 30th. So
Okay.
I booked my flight. Me and my son is coming, just me and him. And I'm a little nervous, but you know what? I feel like the ancestors are definitely calling me, man. I swear I never felt this way in my life before. And I lived I'm from America, you know, and basically I've been here for like 44 years and always felt like I never belonged, right? And I know everybody sings that same song, but like I always believed in God, but I felt like ever since I started really understanding what the Bible is about, the fact that we all know Jesus, hair of wool, skin of bronze. Okay, I get all that. But what I'm saying is, like, I think they really got a problem with us coming back home because God is going to, you know, bring his children back home. And the closer we get to the continent, we're going to get to the Holy Land. And for some reason, I think that's the reason why they don't want us to come back. You know what I mean? And like, if we do that mass exodus, it's going to pull a lot of wealth out of America. But not only that, bring us back to who we truly are. You know what I mean? So I'll be out there, man. You got my fault. Go ahead.
Yeah. Why did you choose Tanzania? What made you decide this?
Actually, I'm going to Kigali, Rwanda.
Okay. Oh, I mean Rwanda. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was confused, man. I ain't gonna lie. At first, I jumped on the bandwagon with Ghana, you know, and no disrespect to Ghana, you know what I mean?
No.
But like I said, I mean, well, what I'm trying to say is it don't matter where we go. Let's just get out there. Let's just do this and connect with each other. You know what I mean? Because like I heard Ghana was getting a little expensive. And then I was thinking about the Gambia. And then I started looking at East Africa. But I'm just going where I think like the ancestors are pulling me. And for some reason, you feel me? So I'm thinking like I never had a connection with God like this before in my life. And I feel like this is awakening, and this COVID thing is something that's beyond us and that we really need to take advantage of. And nobody is going to stop this. Nobody. It's happening. It's already happening, and it's been happening. But once we start waking up the younger youth, like I'm a little older in the game now, but at the end of the day, my child.
44, that's not old.
I feel you. But I wish I would have came like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? And like, there's so many ideals that I have. I mean, I've been working for the man for the longest, 50 hours a week. I make good money, but I've never been so miserable in my life. And it's like, no matter how much you make, you give it right back to them. And when I grew up in America, I remember Black-owned stores. You know, people that look like you. We spent money with each other, and slowly but surely, that's gone now. And it's hard for us to trust each other, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of Black on Black crime in America that's systematically put into place to keep us down. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of us are starting to waken up. And once we start waking up the youth, then you'll stop these mass killings of not only us killing each other in cities like Chicago, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Miami, so on and so on, Los Angeles. they're killing us too at a rate where they don't even care no more, even if they're on camera. It's crazy. It's like when I saw George Floyd get killed, the way that cop was on him, like he just killed a lion or an elephant, or like, and that could be me, and it was almost me plenty of times. You know what I mean? I remember plenty of times, if you run from the cops, you automatically get beat up or whatever the case may be, you know, and it's always your fault. So I've come to the conclusion, if I'm going to go through this over here, why not go back to where I know I'm from? I took my ancestry DNA test. I'm Temne, and I'm also I can't remember the other one, but I know Temne, Sierra Leone, and Guinea-Bissau. Temne and is something else, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as I can just come back to Africa. You know what I mean? And whoever was stolen, my great grandmother or grandfather, they always wanted to come back home on them slave ships. And when they was over here in the Americas and forced to do whatever they needed to do, all they want to do was come home. So I feel like the soul never dies. It's just energy that when I can come back, I brought a piece of my stolen ancestors back. And there's no African American, white man, whoever that could tell me difference. I know where I belong. I know where I'm from. The wool is off my eyes now. You see what I'm saying? And the sad part is, with the African American and maybe other diasporians, we're a product of America. You know what I mean? And once you wipe out the religion, the language, and here, we're going to put this information into you, and this is what you're going to know. And you're going to be, you know what I mean? It's all in the Bible, to be honest with you. But now it's time to get back to who we truly are, and people are waking up. I feel it. I really do.
Yeah, thank you so much. Trust me, 4 years ago, a lot of this wasn't happening, because I know it for myself. 4 years ago was when I was talking about, you know, African diaspora should look into moving back and investing, even if you don't want to, please, all the time. And people didn't really understand. But now it looks like the awakening is really becoming more understandable, and people are seeing it and are appreciating it. So, I mean, we are on the right track, and I just hope everyone can get the benefit and the chance to go over there and see, you know, the benefit, the peace and freedom you get. That's all. That's what I would say.
Oh, real quick, I think I didn't answer your question. You asked me why did I pick Rwanda, right?
Yes.
I didn't answer that, did I?
Yes. I think you said you just felt a connection.
Oh, well, really, I'm gonna be real with you, man. Like, being from America, like, we're used to a lot of things, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm westernized. This is where I lived all my life, and I'm bringing a 6-year-old child, and I did a lot of research, and I was looking at Rwanda for the fact that I found that it's the cleanest city. You know what I mean? And like, cause I'm scared, man. I ain't gonna lie. This America's the only place I ever known.
Yeah, it's normal.
You know what I mean? So when I'm bringing a child, I just thought like Rwanda would probably be the best fit for me. And it may not be once I get there, but I don't care if it was Djibouti, Ethiopia. You know, I've been to South Africa already. And all the lies that I was told growing up, like, oh, just lions, tigers. I mean, not tigers, but lions and monkeys and huts and diseases. And Ebola and whatever other disease, and you get bit by a mosquito, you're gonna die the next day. I found out none of that is true now. I talked to many African brothers that was like, man, we've been had malaria as kids. We had it plenty of time. You don't die from that. It's just when you don't have the money. When you don't have the money, then okay, something could happen to you, you know, or yellow fever. But at the end of the day, we got so many problems over here. I think that's the least of our problems. You know, when we over here just getting shot for walking to the street or just being of color, boom, you could die. You feel me?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why people glorifying over here. And I'm an American, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if you want to come over here, whether you're from Africa, Jamaica, wherever, and come to America for a better life, you're going to be treated just like another. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your input. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank you, bro. I
much.
appreciate you having me, man. I'll jump back on if it gets a little slow. We can chop it up, whatever the case may be.
All right, all right. Stay blessed. We will talk. We will talk.
All right, God bless.
You too. Stay blessed.
All right.
Hi, African millennial. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Awesome to see you. To be honest, when I first saw this channel, I was like, okay. But then, the direction that you changed in this channel, like these live streams, this is just next level. Like, this is awesome. I really honestly appreciate it. Like, the info you're putting out there is really helpful.
Yeah, these days I don't even record videos because the questions keep coming, and I feel like this is bringing more of a connection, and we having a conversation is, I think, it's more beneficial to our growth, to our unification, and all this stuff. So I might upload videos, but it will be seldom, once in a blue moon. But we will constantly do these lives.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So, just gonna talk about some stuff related to this live stream in a little bit. But to answer your question, there actually were, like, even outside of the continent, if you look at Haiti, for example, there actually were a lot of movements that Haitians did to even come to America and get African Americans back to Haiti. And to be honest, a lot of those movements failed because many Black Americans just weren't interested. And some of them actually went to Haiti, and I don't know what it was, but they went back to America. So just putting it out there, even outside of the continent, there were collective movements where we had Black people who were free who tried to help. However, when oppression happens, I could be talking to you, but you don't want to hear what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? So it like, and again, that happened a long time ago. I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm just saying, like, we don't even know all the answers because none of this stuff, unfortunately, was recorded down, and that has been on purpose. So we have to be very careful sometimes when we just believe these things and not know the full story. Unfortunately, there's just certain things that are hidden. And I even recently learned about that, and I was like, wow, that's so shocking.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is, even from Haiti's history, a lot of movement and organizations actually try to, bring some of the people that were taken or sold into slavery from the U.S. into Haiti. But because of, some of the pains and oppressions people have been through, they just feel like, they don't want to go back, they just don't want to go back.
Yes, Daniel, it's actually kind of funny because I guess some of the reasons that they use are some of the reasons that we're hearing our brothers and sisters saying right now, like, oh, well, I lived in America my whole life. I can't go over there. I don't know the language. What if I don't like the food? So it's we're seeing the exact same thing 200 years later.
Okay. So basically, even if they try to reach out, people will say, well, we lost the language, we lost the food, and we can't go back. Just like what some people are saying, because I've seen a lot of people who say going back, those African diaspora going back are just scared of the US. They need to fight and own this country. And a lot of people have opinions about that as well. So I see your point where, even if you think about it, even if, let's say, some African country, just like Ghana did, traveled around the Caribbean and say, hey, we need you back home, you can come back home, and still some people fight the movement and say, well, we built this country, so we will stay, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, definitely. And just to also put it out there, it's really cool how you're on the continent and you know this stuff and you're interested. Because speaking from another,
this 4 years ago, right after high school, on Facebook, not on YouTube. And I've helped some people move to Ghana before, stayed in Ghana, rent a property and all that stuff. So I've been connected with the diaspora for a long time, right after high school.
I'm just trying to start to do that right now because even for me, it's weird because I'm not ADOS. I actually am a first generation Ghanaian outside. And even
Okay.
me, I'm like thinking that there has to be more to life than this. Like, there has to be more to life than working and
Nine
making
to
money.
five, and yeah, in this corporate America.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking, how can we bridge the gap? How can we make more of an impact? Because even what I personally want to do, I'll just share what I personally want to do. There are certain things that when I go back to Ghana, I want to talk to governments and get some things done. But I'm
Okay.
thinking to myself, how can I do that if I haven't done anything? You know, if I don't have any tangibles, if I don't have any organizations, if I don't have any proof. So to me, I'm like, my end goal is to change certain things in Africa, but I don't feel right in my spirit doing that if I haven't started from somewhere. So
Right.
more,
And like I always say, we need to contribute in the smallest way we can to help. For example, I've been doing trips to Ghana for 4 years now, and mostly when we explore certain part of Ghana, especially the northern region, what I realize is, there's lack of education,
yeah.
and most of the kids don't go to school. And what I pay attention to is in Africa, education is really key. And the reason why sometimes we have these challenges is because of our lack in human capital or human resource. We don't have that. So if we happen to have the youngest generation ever, around the world, then we need to utilize that benefit and say, in the next 30 years, we need to have at least 70% of the youth educated. So my smallest way of giving back or doing something is to actually work towards in maybe, putting a child through school or helping or setting up an organization to help those kids get back to school. And you can do, trust me, when you take it from there, you'll be blessed. You will get extended and expand, and trust me, you can go far and you can reach out to the government. You just don't know. You just gotta start.
Okay, last question before I go for you. What made you on this journey? Like, how did you become conscious? How did you become woke?
Okay, so that's a big question that nobody has ever asked me. Now, this is my discovery. This is how I found. I've always been a person who likes to question a lot, and my dad can tell you, my mom can tell you. I came from a family, and I need to it to a point, and that will answer your question. I came from a family where it was just my mom working so hard, and even at 8 years old, I used to serve with my mom, and I used to be her motivator and everything. I grew from a traditional family to becoming religious because we came to the city, and 15 years old, I was a good Bible reader, all that stuff. And then it get to a point where I used to ask my dad this question right from Sunday school. I always ask him question. He doesn't give me an answer. I always ask him question. He doesn't give me a tangible answer. So I said, you know what? Let me learn stuff on my own. Let me discover some stuff. So I was just reading, trying to find out. I always wonder, if the white man made cars and airplanes, what did we do? These questions came into my mind. Then I start searching. What did we do? What was our forefathers doing 300 years ago? If houses in the U.S., if industries were built 100 years ago, what happened? Then I started discovering colonization. That was on my own. I didn't learn none of these in school because nobody told me. I never took history in school, so I didn't really know. So I began finding these things out. And one of the major things that really helped me was also connecting with the African diaspora community on my Facebook. I built a lot of friendship from there. They gave me a lot of materials and resources to get my answers and also discoveries. And that's how it really started gradually, and everything just shifted into this.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hi, Crystal.
Hi.
How
Can
are
you
you
hear me?
doing?
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, my earphones. Okay, so basically, I found your channel like a couple months ago, and
Mm-hmm.
I had been really talking to a lot of my friends here, and I was like, why are we still over here struggling so much when a tax return that we get here in America can pay for land and years of land in our own continent where we're from? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a single mother and sometimes I struggle, but what I said was my plan was I was moving back to Africa, and I said I'm gonna give me an online business so I can sustain myself as well as YouTube because I like to talk. So and then I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people were telling me the same thing that everybody was repeating is, oh, we built this country, we need to stay here. I'm telling people, regardless of what you think in your mind as far as this reparation thing is going, in the Constitution, we are considered 3/5 of a person. They did not consider us to give us any money back because they did not, that was not what the plan was. The plan was for us to come here and be servants and do free servitude and be oppressed. It was not designed for us. Yes, we have made a lot of strides. You see Beyonce, Jay-Z, all these football players, and people always use that to say, look at the black people that have made something of themselves. This is our country, this, that, and the third. But what you don't understand is everything that makes America what it is comes from somewhere, and it doesn't come from the air. It comes from
Mm-hmm.
Africa. Cell
Mm-hmm.
phone, only way I'm talking to you on the cell phone is because the copper that in our cell phone comes from Africa. This chocolate that we eat when we eat candy bars every day, it comes from Africa. And some of those people in Africa have not even tasted a candy bar that they made from farming for low wage jobs. So people need to wake up and stop being so scared. I traced my ancestry back. It said that I'm part of the Yoruba tribe in Nigeria. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so crazy because my whole life I've always been cool with Nigerians and I know them like this better than any African that I've ever met. And it's like, you know how Nigerians sometimes do with their little trickery. I always was like on it, like, look, stop. I already know what you're doing. And they was like, how do you even know, so much about the continent? It's because you got to do your research. Don't
Mm-hmm.
be scared. And some people say, well, I like my Italian food. I like my French food. America's diverse. So is Africa. You can go to Eritrea if you want Italian food. If you want Spanish influence, go to Cape Verde.
Right.
Anywhere that you can go, in America to get that culturally diverse type thing, you can do it on your own continent. I just tell people, listen, if you feel like you need $1 million to go home, you do not. Look at the Black Acres of the Gambia, Rick and Cynthia. What did they say? They came to the Gambia with what, $6,900,
Mm-hmm.
and they there. So why is it that we can't take 6 to 10 grand and leave? We have worked so many jobs over the years for corporate America, and $10,000 have came through our hands over the years. So if you take that same money and go back to your continent and invest, you giving people jobs, you making use of the land, you helping out people, you empowering your continent. So I tell people, please don't be scared because I'm going back. I'm out of here. It's like God is really, and like a lot of people, like the one guy from New York that was on here that said he was going to Rwanda. It is like a awakening. It's like all this time I'm listening to what this oppressor is telling me, and we've been lied to our whole life. And I'm wondering, like, why when we grew up, why is the only thing that we learned about in history class when we had our
Mm-hmm.
free public education was we were slaves. They never told us about Kunta Kinte. They never told us about the Mali Empire, Sundiata. We had to learn that in college, and we had to pay for that. So it's like they say, oh, well, they always use the malaria and the Ebola type thing, but there's HIV, AIDS, and all types of stuff over here too. So
Right.
what's the difference between us being oppressed and having to work like a slave your whole life and go home with the amount of money that we get as far as Black Americans, even with the stimulus, like for example, the stimulus came right after tax season, so people were getting these $6,000 to $10,000 tax returns. Some was $2,000, but I have kids, so I get more. That plus that stimulus, you can leave with that. Pack all this stuff up and leave with that. So I just tell people, just do your research, because and don't. And one thing I have to say before I close: don't try to sit up here and use the fact that they sold us into slavery, we shouldn't go back over there. Just like that guy said, and I knew something was up with that. I said, man, that's a big lie. And when he said the people fought back, that opened my eyes, and I was like, you know what? What he's saying really does sound more than truth than what we've been told, because they want to keep telling us these lies to keep making money off of us, because the black dollar gives a lot to the American economy. You take that away, then what is America then? Land of the free? I don't think so. It's time to go. It's time to go, y'all.
Yeah, thank you so much. So what's your channel so people can basically watch
my channel it hasn't been started yet, but the name of the channel is going to be Chris Angel, and it's going to be like a lifestyle channel. It's going to be vlogs, tutorials. I sell like skincare products as well, made of like shea butter. That's the main reason why I want to get there, because shea butter is expensive here. You can get it anywhere in Africa. Cocoa butter is expensive here. So is like Moroccan oil, argan oil. I use all of that in my products, my natural hair products. So if I'm on the continent, what? Money.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Stay blessed.
You too.
Hi, brother.
Hey, how we doing?
I'm good. I know you've been waiting so long. Siboya, Mami Sika, and Moana. I know you guys are waiting, but please be patient. I'll add you soon. Please be patient. Thank you so much for calling in.
Hey, I appreciate your time. I'm excited to talk to you.
Yes, sir. We're listening to you.
Well, you have a specific question? I was listening to the last speaker.
Yeah, so
yeah,
so the first thing here is a lot of African diaspora have this type of feeling about why didn't Africans on the continent reach out to us, and say, hey, you know what, we want to fight and bring our brothers and sisters back home. Why? Yeah, they understand, well, all this happens on both sides, but after independence, they still had the opportunity to say, we're going for our brothers and sisters.
I understand. Well, it's important to put things in order of time. I'm in America, and my whole life, I thought that when slavery happened, Africa fell in that same moment. First African was brought to America in 16 something. But the white man didn't fully map out Africa until like the 19th century, 18th century. So there was a big gap in between when Africa fell completely and when the African slave was brought here. But it all comes down to power. Before independence, Africa was in direct colonization. Our ancestors were not bulletproof. People have to remember that. The white man came into Africa with guns, and our ancestors did their best to fight back. You could look at Shaka Zulu down in South Africa. They defeated the British in the late 1800s. This is 200 years after Africans were brought to America. Shaka Zulu and his Zulu warriors, using fucking knives, killed thousands of British soldiers with guns. It's just boils down to power. America is united, so is China, and Europe is united around colonizing Africa. Because Africa doesn't have a united nation powerful enough to engage in military warfare against the Europeans or Americans, it's all the same. That's the reason why an attempt to rescue the Africans here in America was never successful. It's not hard. We're not bulletproof. If you look at what the Japanese did to avoid colonization, I think the Africans, us Black people, can learn a lot from that. The Japanese didn't have guns when the Portuguese landed in Japan. The Africans didn't have guns when the Portuguese landed in Africa. The only difference is Japan is tiny compared to the landmass of Africa.
Okay.
So that gave the Europeans plenty of reason, incentive to colonize. Japan is also further away from Europe. The second thing that the Japanese did that's different than the African was they rejected foreign religions. The Portuguese brought Christianity into Japan. Japan was also unified, much smaller territory, so easier to unify. The Japanese people who are in charge of Japan, realizing that this foreign religion is dangerous to their people, they got rid of the Christianity. And because of this, we can eat sushi and enjoy Japanese culture today. I'm in America, detached from my African culture. The culture here in America says that Africa is fucked up. Excuse my language. That's the simple reason why Black people abandon Africa. Because compared to the rest of the world, financially, it's in bad shape. If you look at Wikipedia, it says the 35 of the poorest countries in the world are in Africa. Because of those stereotypes, because of those realities, African Black people here in America and in the developed world, they just want an easy life. Look, it's easier to sit here and eat ice cream every night and just chill. It wasn't until I saw George Floyd begging for his life for 9 minutes where I was like, yo, something else. This not it. You know what I mean? I'm born in New York. Both my parents Jamaican. So I'm different than a normal African American, right? I speak patois, wagwan, mind your pick. And an American doesn't speak like that. But here's the one thing that I want all Black people to remember. My man Daniel's from Africa. If you come to America, a cop that hates Black people will shoot you just as fast as he'll shoot me. Only because we Black. None of that shit don't matter. They don't care if your granddaddy was born in America. They will never see Black people as Americans. We have to understand that. I'm not saying we all should leave, because I understand the side that our ancestors died here, we have rights, and the Africans in America are civilizing these white people. We're exposing them to a higher level of humanity, showing them how to treat people. So I want that experiment to continue. I want the Africans in America to continue to make strides in humanizing the Europeans that run this country. In addition to that, I want the Africans all around the world to figure out how to lift our continent from poverty. It's very simple. We just have to bring the standards that we like, the Wi-Fi, the electricity, Amazon, all that convenience to Africa. Leave the racism, leave nigger. We can leave all that nigger shit in America. They made the word up. It ain't our word. And we can just go back. Now, I understand that because of imperialism, I've recently learned the white man ain't just gonna leave us alone. That's the kicker. And I don't really know what to do about that, because
it's
that's the thing.
Yeah. It's deep when you think about it, but like I said, the only way I see we can get around this is if we can increase the human capital in Africa, and also if we can take the boundaries in Africa away. We need to have a nation called Africa instead of Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia, Uganda, and all that stuff. We need to have, because it's easy to come together if we don't have those little borders between us. You know, guess what? Over 100 years now, we are now implementing free trade among ourselves on the continent. Can you imagine that? So for all these years, we couldn't even trade among ourselves.
Yeah, I'm 32 years old, right? And I made my living playing basketball. And in basketball, there's no such thing as white supremacy. The white man is a liability in basketball. He is inferior inherently. There's nothing he can do about it. He cannot run as fast, jump as high, or be as strong as a black man. I learned that in basketball. Okay. So because white supremacy that isn't real in basketball, what if it's not real in the rest of the world? Right. So that took me down this road. And then I found out about the pact for the continuation of colonization. And listen, man, there's two things that I learned about the continent in the last 6 months that made me tear up a little bit. One was the pact for the continuation of colonization. There's no future for us as long as that is maintained. It just is not possible. The second is the education system. The fact that colonizers are like in charge. Listen, man, if I had all the money in the world, right? If I had all the money in the world, I'd just build schools wherever there's black people. But instead of teaching the kids the benefits of colonization, which I've learned is being taught on the continent, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that these fucking Europeans have the goddamn nerve to kill our ancestors and then teach the children of those ancestors the benefits of why their ancestors were killed. Okay. That's also got to change. But if I had all the money in the world, I just teach our black kids the truth and let them go change the world. Because currently, it's too hard to reach the level of consciousness that people like you and me have. It's too much shit has to happen. So it's easier to just raise them up while they're young. You know what I'm saying? Tell them the truth while they're young so they don't have to weed through all these lies. Anyway, look, man, I don't know. I'm going to come to Africa for a visit. I don't know if it's going to be Ghana or Nigeria or what. I want to change this shit, but hey, these white motherfuckers, they don't mess around. You know what I mean? They got a lot of guns and shit. But I at least want to feel my people. You know what I mean? I want to come feel my people. So
yeah,
I'm gonna come. It ain't gonna be to live, but I'm gonna come. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just pay a visit. Trust me, you have a different perspective as well. It's important to take that first visit, like I always say.
I've been to Malawi before, but my eyes were still closed, you know, so I didn't really have my head on right. But I'm gonna come back for sure.
Okay, thank you so much.
Come to the city. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
You too. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, Siboya, how you doing? Hello? Hello?
Hi, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. I tuned in a little late to your live stream, so I don't know what was already discussed with regards to the topic of like why Africans never went back. I actually get this question a lot from a lot of my viewers too. Like,
hold on,
why didn't
not went back, but
called them back or tried to save them and stuff.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of that question too. I can't say if there's a right or wrong answer, or if anybody knows the right or wrong answer, but what I tried to explain, and it's not an excuse, it's just the reality of things. I think that as generations kept going and there was the influence of Europeans and white people on how we view each other, because for a long time it was made believe well, on the side of African descendants, it was made to be believed that all the slaves were just captured and stolen away, and then some discovered that some slaves were actually sold away. And then even if you think of how the slaves were sold, it's not like, I personally don't feel like it was solely just Africans selling each other. I think white people definitely had a control factor over them to even be able to buy slaves anyway. But nonetheless, I think that because as generations continued before African countries started to get their independence, there was an indefinite division. Like, I just put a video on my channel about wow, what did I put the video about? About automatic citizenship. And I briefly talked about how, like, the realities are just not the same. And once upon a time, being associated with Africa wasn't cool. It was frowned upon to be associated with Africa. And then even on the opposite end, African Americans were viewed in a way by African people that were that was in a shameful way, and look at how they're acting, things like that. So I think that those generational rifts just started to it just brought us farther and farther and farther apart. So even at the time that the African countries did individually start gaining independence, then there's that immediate need or immediate desire isn't there. It's not something that they can't just sit and think about it. Somebody has to put it into a dialogue, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's probably a good idea. And that might sound silly, but unfortunately that is the reality. So I'm just glad that, like, people are starting to wake up. I have a lot of Gambians on my Facebook platform who are like, they're African, so why don't they come home? We should welcome them home. Unfortunately, we do have some who they don't have the connection, or they don't see or feel the connection between African and African Americans. But I think with time, as African Americans and African descendants are starting to awaken, I think indefinitely Africans on the continent will start to awaken as well, especially with us, like first generation African Americans, who we see the day to day. Like one of the callers said very clearly, Daniel, if you are in America, if a cop sees you, they're going to treat you the same way as a generational African descendant. Even me, when I drive on the freeway, when I see police sirens, I get anxious, because that's just the reality of living here. So we're starting to see it, and we're starting to educate our people at home too. So I think with time, things will be easier. I think that if we just kind of, I don't know. I think with time it will be easier. I'm actually I'm actually like uploading a video on my channel tomorrow about like unifying and things like that, kind of breaking down my thoughts on it and how we can unify. But I think people like you and small channels like me, we try to bring these conversations to the table, and indefinitely I think we can make things happen.
Okay, I really appreciate that input. And also, if you're watching this, you can go and subscribe to Siboya's channel. She has some amazing content. And yeah, I appreciate that input. I really appreciate it. I wish a lot of people from the continent can also call in most of the times.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
The time that you do your live streams, it's usually late over in Africa, but
Yeah.
hopefully, I'm actually like hoping to do, because my Gambian audience is more so on my Facebook page than on YouTube. So I actually want to bring a lot of these conversations on my Facebook platform to engage them, because YouTube is easier to connect to us living in America because of the time, because of the accessibility to internet, things like that. But I think if we use all of our avenues, I think we can make it happen.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining, Moana. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, brother. I almost fell asleep.
Oh, hold on for a second. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mommy Scott, call in. I'm sorry you waited so long, but call in, Mommy Scott. Call in. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead. Thanks for calling. Thanks for being patient.
Yeah, no problem, brother.
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna go back into the topic again. The question again, I guess I'm kind of a little my mind is a little froze up,
Yeah,
brother.
because
Can you go over again, please?
okay, so the question is, this
Mhm.
is I think a lot of people have this been asking this question 1,000 times. Thanks, my Missika. I apologize for delaying you, but right from this caller, you the next person. But the question is, why didn't Africans from the continent reach out and say, hey, let's go rescue our brothers and sisters in the diaspora? They were our family, they were taken, but now we have the freedom, the chance, or we have the avenue to go and bring them back home or make some type of you know policies and some programs to help them return back home. Why didn't African nations or countries reach out? That's what most people wanted to know.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of almost fell asleep right after um, the brother from New York, the basketball player.
Yeah.
He was, spot on, and exactly the reason why a lot of African nations, did not. I wouldn't say did not, although there were some that attempted and tried. So the people that come in mind right now are, of course, Kwame Nkrumah came here.
Okay.
Also, Patrice Lumumba came here, the freedom fighter of the Congo, in the country where I'm originally from. Actually, Patrice Lumumba came and he met with a young lady in America that he actually, I would say, appointed her to come to Congo and actually help around there and have her learn what was going on in the Congo, and actually, I guess, improve or contribute into the education system there that was going on that they had in Congo. And that lady actually is Dave Chappelle's mother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't really know that, but Dave Chappelle's mother was working with Patrice Lumumba in the Congo, and she was able to learn the language, spoke French, Lingala, and all of that. But you got to understand that even though some of these leaders came to America at that time, you got to remember it was during the civil rights struggle with that was going on in America. And imagine African leaders coming to America during that time into pretty much a lion's den. You get what I mean? They were trying to do things that the powers that be here in America that did not like at all. And plus, they were trying to gain support from the American government at that time. I mean, a racist country at that time. I mean, you think about it, coming as an African man, an African leader, to try and get support from these people that were oppressing our own people in the first place. You get what I mean? So, brother from New York actually, put it very clear. It was very clear. I mean, there's four pillars of power, right? Just like Dr. Claude Anderson talked about. First thing is economics, the flow of money. The second thing is military science. The third is agriculture science, and the fourth is medical science, health, and everything like that. Well, you got to remember at that time, as African coming out of colonialism, did we actually have those things? I'm asking a question.
No.
So how can we even make an attempt to try and rescue our brothers and sisters here in this country? I mean, we were asking for a suicide mission, pretty much. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but
no, I really get it. Because I mean, basically, what you're saying is that we didn't really have the resources. We didn't have all the technologies and stuff to basically do the things we were supposed to actually do. first of all, from our point of view, we were also going through the era of figuring out what and how and where we should be able to take our country to right after colonization. So the struggle between us trying to figure ourselves out and trying to reach out didn't really even click together.
Yeah. So yeah, just like the brother from New York said, I definitely agree with him, and that's exactly what happened, and that's exactly what's going on right now. I mean, I was just actually watching one of our sisters from I think she's a Ghanaian YouTuber. She was talking about how when she was in, I don't know if it's junior high or high school, whatever it is in Ghana that you guys, I don't know the system there, that they in one of her I guess exam, or social studies exam, they were asking them I guess what was the benefit of colonialism. You know what I mean? How can you ask people that you actually went into their nation and killed their ancestors and subjugate them into slavery, you know, literally ask them how great that whole system was. You get what I'm saying? Sorry, but I just wanted to touch on that. But that's all I have for today. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know you were sleepy, but you were able to, chip this in. I really appreciate that. And like I said, to be honest, still, I mean, even though, African countries couldn't reach out initially, I can always say, we are in a gradual process of doing so, because I can just use the Ghana president initiative as an example. And I believe as time goes on, other African countries will reach out as well. I mean, I think is it Senegal or Sierra Leone is also giving citizenship if you can prove you have some type of DNA relationship with a country and a tribe. So I think this is the moment, and we have to appreciate the process and just, say, you know what, we will get there. I think that's my input as well. But thank you so much.
And one thing, real quick, I just found out I was watching actually Mike Tyson's podcast. He did his DNA test and found out that he's got a Congolese DNA, so he's literally from Congo in a way. So I was surprised. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, even for Mike Tyson to do a DNA means that the awakening is going too far.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, my Misika, it's the same.
Oh, me who you? Nyame Adam na wo so e.
Bibi aboko me gina me camera na.
Yeah, yes.
I don't know what this.
Oh, now my surprised there, like what they make a but me didn't here.
Yeah. Okay, let me introduce maybe on Montiasi. Okay, my Misika is a Ghanaian, so basically we were speaking some Ghanaian. So if you guys didn't understand what I said, I was just saying, how is she doing and all this stuff. So yeah, thanks for joining. I'm sorry I had to keep you waiting for it, but a lot of people were in line. So thanks for joining once again.
Thank you. So I just wanted to share something small. I'm really young. Well, in my eyes now. I'm 18, but there's so many things that I think about now that most of my mates don't think about. Like, I'm in the US right now. I'm studying aeronautical engineering, but it's crazy. When I was coming to the US, I had like a different mindset. I had the mindset that, oh man, this place. I mean, I didn't think of it as heaven, but then I thought it was like top notch. But then when I came here, I was so disappointed. Like my first 2 years.
Hold on. How old were you when you came to the US?
Well, I came when I was 16.
Okay.
For high school, my last year of high school, and then I went back to Ghana.
Okay.
And then I came back for university.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening.
So I have a lot of family here.
Mm-hmm.
In California, Maryland, spread out. And I was like during the lockdown, I was with my family in California. And with all that was going on, they were just done and they were like, they're moving to Ghana. They have a mansion in Ghana, right?
Okay.
But they've been living here for about 30 years, just for a long time, and they're done. But then they came here with the mindset that this place was heaven and that this place was like the only place they could make it.
Okay.
And they taught their children that. And now that they want to move to Ghana, they want to convince their children to go with them, but their children just don't get it. And their children do not want to go. And I think it's so sad.
Yeah, I mean, basically what you just telling me is exactly what one brother was making a reference to. The Nigerian guy, he was making a reference to, for the fact that our parent needs to really educate us and tell us, back home, for example, I'm in Ohio, right?
Yeah.
And when I tell people this place is just a corporate office, it's just for business, but this is not a place where you can raise a family, you can do all this stuff. Don't think, it's so good over here. You see what I'm saying? People don't even have the freedom to be outside and play. People can be outside and have the freedom and do what they want to do, like it was in Ghana. It's like you spend your whole 24 hours, half of the 8 hours at work and the rest in your room. You see what I'm saying? So I keep telling people, and we have to really instill this into our children. But go ahead. Thanks for making a reference on that.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting because when I was in high school, I went to Infantiman for 2 years before coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know Infantiman?
Yeah. I know Infantiman.
My biology teacher, he comes from a pretty wealthy family, right?
Okay.
And when he was about my age, his parents wanted him to go to the UK or to the US to study. But he said every time they gave him money to go file for his visa, he would just go to the club and spend it because he didn't want to step foot here. And when he said that I didn't get it, I was like, why would you do that? Like, you have this opportunity and you're just wasting it. And like today I was texting with him and he was just telling me that he doesn't like America. And I was like, I feel you. I don't either. I just can't feel good here.
So let me ask you this. As a Ghanaian studying engineering, right? Okay, so you have this type of feeling and you feel you don't belong here, which anyway, you don't belong here. You see what I'm saying? And you have the opportunity because one, you know where your parents are from, you can speak the language, you have all these things in place. I call it resources anyway, human resources, because some people can get access to this. When you're done with your engineering, do you have a plan, and say, I want to return back home? Or what do you, because, most people don't really get to know this until they get here.
True. You should see my notes on my phone. I have like a whole plan and every day I dream about it. Like every day I talk to my parents every day and I tell them that I wish Ghana had an engineering school that taught hands-on engineering. If they did, I wouldn't step foot here for anything. Like, I don't have any business doing here. But that's not the case. I could study aeronautical engineering in Ghana, but it would just be theory.
Right.
And like, what is the point of studying if you can't apply it? That's the only reason why I'm here. I would have gone back to Ghana ASAP.
But see, this is it. There's nothing wrong in studying and taking the skill and the knowledge back home, because it's really important. If most of our sisters and brothers can take their skill knowledge back home and say, I really want to invest everything back in Ghana or Nigeria or Gambia, then I think the change will really be rapid.
So I have a plan that after school I'm going to do my master's, and then the ultimate goal is to go back to Ghana, set up a school for aeronautical engineering. It's going to be an aeronautical institution that teaches hands-on airplane manufacturing. Like, that is my ultimate goal to do. And I'm planning that latest by 35, I'll be in Ghana and I'll be working on that. And so, like, I want to go back so bad. I just need to do some things, make some connections, and like just finish my education. But I'm going back, and I have a boyfriend, and I'm always telling him, and he also has the same mindset. He's like, he's also from Ghana. He doesn't feel at home over here at all, and he also wants to do something. Like, we're going back home. Even my children, I don't know if I'll give birth here, but even if I do, I'm shipping them to Ghana like straight away. I'm letting them grow. I want them to grow up as Ghanaians. I don't want them to grow up as children of immigrants.
Yep. That's they need to get the culture experience. They need to be able to speak. One of the things that annoys me the most is seeing Ghanaian parents trying to push English language on their children. Well, even though they are not my kids, it just get under my skin so much when I see it, because I'm like, why? Let them speak their local language. English is only important when you see an European or somebody who cannot speak your local language. You see what I'm saying? But it's really good to really see you with this mindset at your age. It's rare. It's very difficult to find somebody at your age to even think this way, which means it has already been in you from the beginning. And it's good that you are expressing yourself freely, and don't let anybody take that away from you. Don't have the fear. When you feel you need to go back and start an engineering school, give it a try. You're just young. You see what I'm saying? And there's no harm in trying in life. I always say there's no harm in trying.
Okay. And I have one last thing to say.
Okay.
Right now, like, I've been watching a lot of YouTube because I miss Ghana so much. So I'm just like watching Ghana content. And I've seen that like so many people are moving back, but they want their children to go to international schools.
Okay.
Right. And I have a problem with international schools because international schools in Africa are trying so hard not to be African,
Yeah.
Like, you can't speak Chi there. I was watching, even in like so many Ghanaian schools, you cannot speak Chi. But my school, I feel like we had that Pan-African mindset, and so we could speak Chi. Well, we could speak Fanti because I grew up in Kaswa, and that's what we learned in school, Fanti. So we spoke Fanti, but we spoke Chi and Guy and whatever.
You grew up where?
In Kaswa.
Oh, okay. I know Kaswa. Where in Kaswa?
CP.
Okay, CP. Okay. Do you know oh, it's been a long time, but I was living at something junction. From there you get to
Something junction? Opekuma Junction?
No, not there. From West Hills, right? Yeah. From West Hills, you get to I think I forgot, but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, so like the international schools are just trying so hard not to be African. And I don't like that about that. And so I feel like if you're moving to Ghana, you should let your children go to Ghanaian owned schools, like schools that like they teach pro-black, and there are schools like that. My school was like that, because that's how that is how to integrate with the Ghanaian people. You don't just go there to be American. If you are moving back to Africa because you know that is your home, you should go there to be African, not American.
Yeah, make sure you integrate with the local people more instead of trying to go international in Africa, because then what was the point? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, what was the point? And also, if we can instill Pan-Africanism in our culture and our education system, because even though we're trying to copy, imitate the Western world, why don't we do it well? If you go to China, right, they use their local language they never adapt foreign culture. They still maintain their own culture. Why can't we use our local language, teach, and all that stuff? It's just, I don't know. If I meet a Ghanaian, that's not what we speak in English. I always say, hey, Masa, Fabro for some yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's important that you have this mindset at the age of 18. At 18 years, I wasn't thinking like you. You see what I'm saying? At 18 years, I wasn't thinking like you. So being on this journey at 18 years, it is really important. And also, what I'll suggest to you as my sister, go ahead and maybe have a platform. You can start a YouTube or any social platform to inspire your dreams, to keep you more focused, because that will be like a symbol of what you want to become, and keep pushing it.
Yeah. So I've actually started a channel.
Okay.
I just started it like a few weeks ago.
Okay.
But right now I'm going to make it about Kaswa.
Okay.
Because whenever I look up Kaswa, I get so embarrassed. Like, I don't see anything good. Like, when I look up Kaswa right now, I'll see news from 2 years ago, some armed robbery happened, or the interchange that was like 2 years, like there's nothing. And so I'm going to be making videos about Kaswa, schools in Kaswa. My school that I went to was 10 times better than so many schools in Accra. And people don't even know that. Schools about Kaswa, real estate. My dad is a real estate developer.
Okay.
The company is called Blue Rose Limited. And so I'm going to be like
Talking
touring
about it.
there a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
And just all things Kaswa, and like Ghana beyond Accra. That's what my channel is going to be about.
Do you have it now so I can promote it for you?
Yeah, it's called Mamisika.
Mamisika. Okay. So please, family, I want you to do me a favor and subscribe to my sister's channel. It's called Mamisika. She is aspiring to be an engineer, and her main goal is to take her knowledge and skills back to Ghana. And we need to support her. We need to make sure she stays focused on her dreams and path. So please, that's the name of your channel. Go support Mamisika, and I'll subscribe as well to your channel so I can keep up and know more about Kaswa. You see what I'm saying? I'll be going back to Ghana in April.
I'm going in November.
Okay, November. Okay, basically you'll be there before me. But I want to see what's going on in Kaswa. But I'm really proud of you to be at 18 years and thinking this way. It's amazing. And this is what we wanted to see: more people from the continent, young people, changing their mindset. Because trust me, 20 years ago, you would never find a young Ghanaian, Nigerian having this type of mindset. And I think it's good that we all take the skills we get back home and say, we want to build our continent, our country. Nobody will do it for us. And even if somebody decides to do it, they'll make sure they benefit more. You see what I'm saying? And I will say, yeah,
we have to own our stuff.
We have to. So a lot of people say they just subscribe. So please subscribe to my Mr. channel. And
Thank you.
before I let her go, we have to speak some tree and let you guys explain it. You see what I'm saying? We about to speak some tree on here so you guys can explain, because I don't want her to leave without speaking tree, you know. So then I can say come.
Really poor. I need to you Juma or high ho. What's
No,
now?
I'm saying school.
Ah, okay, okay.
Mission programming.
Oh.
My name say me because you know, me focusing more on Juma Sem business now there, because me travel agency on like 4 years I'm starting internet. Afibia me dem kofoko. Nka me kokra before. O say
Sana meka say me papa. Also our mindset we be. In a way, we hosty African Americans anyway. UK for bebree maba back to Ghana because to me nkɔfo bebree aba Ghana betina Ghana nti betimi alinki up kra.
Oh, nti ne ye be da link up because nka was say na was nka me call cra before you can say na was say me call October. But because of border na be in time na nkɔfo na me de omo call Ghana no omo so person omo shifted date nti omo push call May. Until I may also make 1 month before, but me Ghana for AB Abusme me and son I'm up back.
Oh, okay.
Obi say what's a sister?
Hey.
Yeah, Obi say what's a sister. You know, you can't say Sena you bit my connected.
Obetumi text me, obetumi DM me on Instagram, Hotty City. Ana me mom me email.
Okay.
Yeah. Me email ni
Well, my family media and tour because
okay. Yeah.
Me that tour. No, me that tour no.
Okay. Okay. Me.
Okay.
Yeah, would you wanna no koswaye?
Mate.
Me call Ghana, me call educating kofu bebre. Me nua say, o catch me say.
Omonti
I say.
Omonti I said that. Oka omonti.
Okay.
That me say Ghana, oko Ghana na wo catch you say.
Ebi mo ti asie. Say aba convince kofu be too.
Oh.
So mo tuna Ghana, mo pra ba ha no. Omo ba ha be wu keke.
I dear, na me kano. I did here say ebia what my bomodin was some type of business be an say juma but apart from I sit on the dear
and I have say oba ha is sound me uncle over you ne me auntie ne like time be ye can ho asem me auntie ka say
okay can let's speak English because Obi said somebody said that's rude to speak in Cree when most of us don't. No.
Okay. We're sorry.
No, that's not. We didn't mean to do that way because people say we should speak in the local language so they can hear how P sounds. So it's not being disrespectful. We're just trying to speak it so you can understand what or how P sound. You see what I'm saying? Nothing disrespectful. In summarization, all we'll be talking about is she's saying she's going back to Ghana in November and she intends to educate her young siblings, you know, and all that stuff. Nothing, you know. Okay, Obi say, how do you save? Oh, some it's just but so I'm on phone say you did on my tent, you know. Just summarize everything. compromise everything.
Yeah. So I was just saying that the US really changes you. Well, the West really changes you, because my auntie was just telling me about how when she got married to my uncle in Ghana, he used to be so sweet. But after coming to the US and struggling for so many years and just being indoors all the time, he has really changed and he has become somewhat bitter. And I can see that in their child, their last born. She's just 14 years, but she's always depressed, and it's so sad. And it's so sad. And she thinks I'm the problem. She thinks I'm too happy. She's always depressed, and I just wish she could live in Ghana to just feel free and like loosen up.
Because what I realize is here, kids can't even feel free to play outside. You see what I'm saying? They're always, and we are social beings. We are not meant to be kept indoors like pets. You see what I'm saying? We need to be outside express, because that reduces depression and all that stuff. So it's really important. But thank you so much. Thank you. And remember to send me a message through the email, and then we'll link up. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Stay blessed.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. So that was Mami Sika from Ghana. Thanks for joining, Heavenly Beautiful. Thanks for joining. But please go subscribe to. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for being patient.
It's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I really enjoy the conversations and the thoughts and different perspectives from everyone. Even the dialogue in the chat was pretty good and interesting.
In the P language?
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Oh, I enjoy this. You know what's funny? I used to live with Liberians in my teenage years. And at the time they had the war, so they were speaking Tree a lot. And I used to know the language a little bit, but I understood it. And I went on a date with this guy and he was Ghanaian, but he didn't know I understood his language. But I didn't like him, but I didn't care. He was going to take me to the movies. I was like, all right, he's going to take me to the movies. So he made a phone call while I was in the car, and he was speaking in Tree, but I knew what he was saying. And he was telling his girlfriend another story. And I said, look at this. And I just went on the day, I acted like I didn't know and stuff like that. So I'm just sharing that to say, I really didn't value what that woman was trying to teach me, because I was so caught up in my teenage years. I wasn't, even though I would ask questions about who we were, but I really didn't get what this woman was saying. And if I had the mindset then that what I have now, I would have been more enriched. I probably would have I would have went more further in my life, because now I found my purpose. And, my parents are from Jamaica. So I can understand some of the words as I'm continuing to listen. I said, oh, that's that word. It's just that the accent's just a little different. And even in different parts of the Caribbean, different areas, they speak different in different areas. I don't understand every area if I go some places in Jamaica anyway. So I really need to catch up. But I find that a lot of Africans, when they do hear people from the country, they understand them. They get a lot of their words. So yeah. Anyway, I want to say, gosh, I have so much to say, but I'm gonna make it short. I'm gonna condense it. But I mentioned this before. I've been privileged to really been around a lot of Africans, and I moved to Atlanta, and so far I'm mostly around Nigerians, mostly.
Okay.
And I mean this in the best way possible, and I think criticism is we should listen, and we should find ways to critique, some of our behaviors and stuff. And I've had great experiences with Nigerians, and I've had bad ones.
Okay.
But I've never really had a run-in with Ghanaians. Ghanaians are more laid back. They're not as confrontational as Nigerians.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even shocked that a lot of slaves came from Nigeria, to be honest. And I had an experience where, moving to Atlanta, of course, I have to get to know it because I'm from New York.
Okay.
And, of course, it's going to be kind of strange to me. And I've had an experience where, I find more so Igbos within Nigeria tend to be those that they think more superior, like they're more superior than others. They're the ones that I find tend to be like that. Even though I love them very much, yes, my ancestors, my DNA, it connects to Ghana. I have family that I connected with already on the ancestry DNA, but I find the superior mindset is troubling. And they're like that even amongst their own tribe. So you'll have different clans, and this clan will look at another clan like, oh, no, them, like as if they're looking at them like as if they're not even a part of their tribe. So I'm saying all of this to say that that's some of the root why we're in this situation now. And when I had it, I work at home, so I'm close to it. Well, you know what? She got close to me, and she asked me, "Oh, can you watch my kids for me and stuff?" So I said, "Fine." I'm a single mother. She's not. She's married. So in their culture, being married is a status.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I know a lot. Being married is a status. So, and then she's not from Lagos, so she has a village mentality. And the village culture is a little different.
Yeah.
Just like it's in the Caribbean or in the south part, in the country part in the US. And she tried to take advantage, and I needed that experience, and I was not having it. I said, no, business is business. I don't care if I'm working while I'm to watching your kids. You're going to pay me this. And I got a revelation about that I felt like she treated me like almost I'm like a slave. And I'm sharing this so you guys can really see, like, I've been around them, so I know them, and no, not all of them are like that, but that's a common thing in that tribe. Like, I can be honest to say, in Jamaica, when people say certain things about Jamaicans, I can't deny it. There's something that we got to fix. It's something common amongst all of us, but we can't say everybody's like that. That's the dangerous part. But those are some things that are negative, but they're common amongst that group of people. And I know that sometimes houses can be treated, the Hausa tribe in Nigeria could be treated like that when they do live in that area. So, I had there was a time that, her white neighbors came, and I ended up watching them.
Mm-hmm.
This was just for like 2 weeks, and I was watching them, and her kids have that same mindset, and they were talking down to the white kids. This was interesting to me. And the white kids were well behaved. I can say they grew up with them, so they have a love for them, but they were treating them in a way like as if they were slaves. Oh, you stupid white girl, you moo. And they were like 5, 6, and 4. And I was so shocked. So I said, do you see what's going on? So those things need to be addressed. Her husband said to me one day, we were talking, he said, "Oh, I know there's no slaves that came from my generation because I know like 5 generations down. Yet my ancestry DNA connected me right to his village."
Mm-hmm.
Right. Listen, I got a good amount of them from his village. And from Anambra, Newe. And I say this because I know that mindset causes problems amongst other African tribes. So I think we gotta deal with that. I believe God blessed Ghana because they came out and embraced a lot of things I don't believe everybody just sold everybody into slavery just to be selling into slavery. But of course, nothing is new under the sun. And what is happening now, as we can see in Libya, as we can see in some of our in our villages, our cities, those things are kind of happening again. People say they're going to work and they go away to this country, yet because they have a phone, they can tell us, or they have the internet, they can tell us, oh, we're being enslaved here, we're being raped here. But then our forefathers never had that. You know, our forefathers never had a technology in that sense to say, oh, this is happening to us. Please come and rescue me. And yet this is really, 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 really very troubling to me. So I love Ghana. I love Nigeria. I you know, I really, really love Nigeria, but I believe that curse got to be broken, because if they address that and that pride, that division, oh, I'm better than you, even amongst their own people, you know, I feel like if we do that, if they address that, a lot of things will be turned around, because Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, you know, some places like that, like even Ethiopia, you know, those are like main countries that that are strong representation within the African continent. And yeah, I just want to say, you know, I'm so grateful for what the president of Ghana is doing. I've been praying about it for a long time, so I'm like, it's just like a dream come true. When I was a little girl, my mom I used to ask her questions about Africa. I've always had an interest in Africa because my mother, she never really talked about her family, because she married my father and her family disowned her for that. So it made me very inquisitive about who she was, what Jamaica was. And I didn't really go back to Jamaica that much. And I wanted to know about Africa, because she talked to me about Africa. I grew up in a time when they were talking about Bob Marley, and I had a positive outlook at Africa because I wanted to know. And I saw this picture on National Geographic one day. They were showing the safaris and stuff in Ethiopia, and I just thought about the Bible. And I said, wow. And I just believed that Africa had to be the promised land. As a little girl, I was like 5 years old. And that stayed with me. So even though they were saying negative things, it didn't bother me. Huts didn't bother me, because when I looked at Hawaii, back then, I remember they were showing huts about Hawaii. They were also portraying Hawaii in that negative, in that way. I didn't think it was negative. But now I'm realizing, as everyone is dialoguing, that maybe it was a little negative. You know?
Yeah. But
yeah, so I just feel like, you know, we just have to humble ourselves. We need to confront things and just admit. I really believe that. Come on. Nigeria had so many slaves. Shockingly, my DNA even goes to Niger. Beyond that. So, you know what I mean? When I thought I was only Ghanaian. Because that's what my parents told me. You know, and you know, I feel like that is the hindrance. I really do believe that. So I got to commend you guys, you know, and that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much. Thank you. I appreciate your input. Stay blessed.
You too. Bye, everybody. I'm back in the chat.
Hi, Lizzie. Thanks for joining.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. I have a couple, well, maybe one or two questions. My first question is...
Is it to me or to the audience?
It's to you. I would like your opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. So my question is, maybe you've already covered this, because I left and then I had to come back, and it was when I came back. But one thing I would like to know is, what do you think that the countries that were involved in the slave trade should do to atone for that? Because I feel that, like, until that happens, there's always going to be like resentment.
Okay. So basically what you asking me is, what do I really think about, you know, the countries that were involved in the slave trade? What should they do right now for the diaspora community?
Yeah, to atone for that. Yeah.
Okay, so to me, if I was a president or if I was in a position of power, the best thing to do is, having a program or a system to basically help, the diaspora return back. And if they do so, basically there should be a guide on how they can settle down comfortably. There should be a plan and a layout, basically a layout plan for them to follow and say, hey, from this point, I can basically settle down, have all the paperwork that I need, be able to have certain structures in place. If I need business advice and other stuff, if I need, purchasing land, whatever I intend to do, I'll have institutions and other plans in place to help them move back easily with no struggle. Because I think most of the problem out there now that people have to question their decision on moving back to Africa is there's less information out there. There's less public education about moving back. So if the government can really have these measures in place, and I always say the Ghana government tried with a program called the Right of Abode program, which it didn't really work out well. But if we want to really apologize or atone to the African diaspora community, we need to have better institutional plans to help people who are interested in returning back do so easily with no struggle.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Okay.
And citizenship is part as well.
So citizenship would be part of that. And you think like language classes and things like that be part of it as well?
To me personally, I feel there's no need to take a language class if you stay in the African continent, because you just need to stay there for 2 years to be able to understand everything they're saying. And then you need extra 2 years or 3 years to be able to speak fluently. So as long as you are living with the local people and you talking to them, day in and day out, you catch up with everything they're saying. It will just come out effortlessly. You don't even have to try to do all that stuff, because every day language is communication, right? It's oral. So the more you talk to the people, the local people, you don't have to take a class for it. I believe you'll be able to speak within a few years.
Okay. So another question I have is, I'm speaking about Black Americans in particular, but the diaspora slave descendants are also in, Brazil and Mexico and Central American, it's all over. But like for Black Americans in general, like how would we be able to maintain our culture, right? Because the culture that we've built up here, but also be able to live in Africa as well without any sort of like friction. Because sometimes I think that a lot of people kind of downplay our culture, but it's actually a really, I think there's like aspects of our culture that are really, rich and wonderful. And I would hate for people to feel that they can't like be themselves in, like Ghana or other countries that might implement these types of things. And I'd want to be able to like, share culture, but be able to coexist with like other tribes who have their culture, right? And we have like our culture as well.
Okay, so first of all, when you say the African Americans culture, what would be the definition of that culture? How would you say this is a culture exclusively to the African diaspora community? And if I'm moving to Ghana, I really want to maintain this type of culture. Can you give me an idea? Because in America, I know there's nothing like culture. It's more of like social laws and ethics. There's a difference between culture and that, but maybe I'm wrong on that aspect. So I want you to give me maybe some more information about that.
Right. So when I talk about culture, one cultural thing around a lot of Black people, Black American slave descendants, we're very direct in how we talk to each other, right? So if we want something or we like need something, a lot of times we'll just say it outright. The other thing is like time. Being on time to us is very important in some instances, right? If it's for business, if it's like social gatherings, it's a little different. But for like business and other important things, like time means a lot to us, right? That's another culture. Those are two kind of cultural things. Another thing is like our music, from like jazz to ragtime to hip hop to R&B. Yeah, all of our like cultural music that you hear in the West, or at least in the United States, and even in the South American places like that, that's like a very cultural. That's like a very Black American kind of like cultural thing as well. And then of course, like our food, the food that we eat, the different kinds of food that we eat, and then of course, there's probably different kind of subcultures within the larger culture. Yeah, so that maybe are more like region based.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm thinking about those types of things.
Okay, so let me touch on these things. Now, when you say speak up, I think speaking up is more of how one person is basically view stuff, perspective, how they grew up, how they were trained. Speaking up can be, it's not to me. It's not distinctive. It's not culture. It's just how you are individually. Some people are very calm, laid back. They will not speak up on certain things. They'll just stop even talking about it and they'll move away. When you come to time management in business, even on the African continent, you'll find people who are really conscious with their time. It's not like it's the fact that time is more seen and valuable in the Western world doesn't mean time is not value in Africa. When you go to Ghana, you're doing business. Some people take their time serious, others don't. And those who don't simply means they don't understand the value of time. It's not our culture to overlook time, because trust me, if I have a business in Ghana and I have workers and they don't come to work on time, I'll fire them. You see what I'm saying? I'll not say it's a Ghanaian thing to play with time and not show up, on time. So time, speaking up, is I don't know how that became a culture thing. And then with music, you can listen to all the music you want in Ghana. Nobody will stop you. Like, to be honest, through West Africa, they enjoy hip hop. They enjoy jazz music. I mean, every Western music or American music, you can get that feeling in Africa as well. So I don't think you will have a problem enjoying the music. Now, when it comes to the food that you talked about, you can basically enjoy any food you want as long as you can get the ingredient. Trust me, nobody will say, "Hey, you can eat this." And there are also some, I think, American restaurant that can basically connect you in getting those food that you are used to. So you can get all these things in most African countries.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I have one more question.
Okay.
How long did you spend time in America, and how long did you spend time in America for, if you did?
Yeah. Not okay. I'll say 1 year in a whole, but it has always been come and go back, come and go back.
Okay. So then, from your time, and did you ever hang around any African American slave descendants or Black slave descendants or whatever?
You mean being here?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me give you a brief history about myself, so maybe you understand. 3 years ago, right? 3 years ago, um, I helped a brother from Florida. He's called Mark, right? He moved to Ghana. I held his hand, rented a place. It was a 6-bedroom. I stayed, lived with him for a year in that house before he returned back to Florida. I also helped some brothers from Alabama called the Research family. Is 2 brothers, Tyrese and Titus. If you go on Facebook, you'll find them out. I also help them come to Ghana. Currently, they're still in Ghana. I do trips from the US to Ghana for 4 years now. In 2017, I brought 20 people from the US to Ghana. 2010 people, 2019, 7 people. 2020, COVID-19 destroyed the trip. So 2021, we have about 16 people going to Ghana. So I have been with the African diaspora, African American family for over 4 years now.
Okay, cool. So then from your interactions with them, would you say that African American slave descendants are their own tribe now? Would you classify them as their own tribe?
Their own tribe. Okay, now tribe. Okay, first of all, let me bring it back. Tribe, right? Tribe is just a group of people with a specific style, culture, and traditions. That makes a tribe. So if you go to Ghana, right, and you say the Akan tribe, right? We are Ghanaians. We are Ghanaians. But when you go to the Akan tribe, they have a specific type of food they eat. They have their style of dressing. They have their own unique language. They have traditional practices such as how they celebrate certain holidays, and they have their own unique heroes and way of ruling and family system. If you go to the Ewa tribe, they have their own. So when you say tribe, right, as it's more like it's I don't know how to put it. These things should be in place to be able to say tribe. Now, what I see the African diaspora community is, I can say maybe it could be a nation if they come together. But since I cannot pinpoint and say people in Florida have a specific type of clothes, a unique language, they have a ruling system, I can classify as a tribe, because these things makes it a tribe. To be able to have a tribe, there should be a tradition and a culture for that specific group. Tradition is the way your specific food, clothes, and all that stuff. If there's no specific clothes, culture, and a unique language, it can never be classified as a tribe. It can be a nation, but not a tribe. Just like Ghana is a nation, yes, but within Ghana, there are tribes, which is very different from a nation.
Okay, so you would say that it has to do with more, so because African American slave descendants do not have their specific language, right? We speak the language of the people who we were colonized by, or we were enslaved or sold to.
Right.
Then we don't have a specific tribe. So
yes,
we
you
did.
and not like they don't have it. You can classify it as a tribe.
Okay, so it would be like a language. It comes down to language.
It comes down to language, food, style of dressing, and traditions. When I say traditions, maybe I know they have what we call Kwanzaa, but not everyone celebrates Kwanzaa, right? Or everyone does?
Are you frozen or?
No. I'm
Okay.
asking you.
No, some people do, some people don't. It depends. Like my
Okay.
family, we didn't.
Okay.
But I knew
Okay.
some people did. So.
Okay. So yeah, that's basically what it is.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I never really seen it like that, but that does make sense. And I think that's why it's kind of can be hard for Black American slave descendants to kind of be in Africa because, like, over there, people, it's a very tribal area and people get a lot from their tribes. And if you come from a country like America where we don't necessarily have that kind of mindset, we have to learn how to be tribal, right? We have to be like, oh, other African Americans are our tribe. Whereas like nowadays we just see like other Black people as, oh, look, we just see like color. We don't necessarily see like tribal affiliation. And I think for Black Americans to be successful, we have to start thinking more tribalistically. That's how I see it, because I mean, Africa is like very tribalistic, and I'm like, if we don't do that, we'll never survive, right? Because we'll just, we'll have no one to take care of us, have no one to appeal
No,
to, because
no.
we won't have a
Let me make this correction. Africa used to be very tribal. Now it's more like moving into nation. So for the fact that now you can go to Ghana and communicate with everyone, is we have really grown past the tribal aspect. Years ago, there was not even intermarriages between tribes. Now it's so common. Like 20 years ago, 50 years ago, those things were very picky and all that stuff. So I think you can really blend in any African country without having tribal barriers and all that stuff. It's one of those things. Africa is moving into more like a nation aspect.
But just a few minutes ago, you were speaking Tree, right? And so it's like I would have to learn like every single language on the African continent for me to be able to fit in. Like
You don't have to learn every single language. When you go to Ghana, right, Tree is a predominant language, right? So if you can speak, everyone in Ghana speak Tree. I speak English. I had to learn that, right? So if I can learn English and communicate with you, you can learn Tree as well.
Right, but like there's still other tribal languages that people.
Right. So for me, I'm a Ghanaian, right? But I can speak all the 42 languages in Ghana. Does that make me less of a Ghanaian? No.
Right, but also your tribe is not less of your tribe, though. I mean, you still have your tribal affiliation, though. Like you have your people, your lineage, your culture. Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. I just feel that like that's just how things are going to have to be, because it's like again, in America, we're not very tribal. Like I go from East Coast to West Coast, all of us speak the same language, and we have some very, very similar culture, right? If I go meet my relatives in, Texas or, Virginia or, Oregon, like everybody speaks English. That's just how it is. But I realize that like in Africa, that is not the case. And so because everybody's divided by their language, and us not having our own, like we do have our own language, but it's, it being English, then we're going to have to like learn to be a tad bit more collective than we already are. Otherwise, I don't think it would work out well, because we would just be floating, rootless on the continent with like no sense of like, family, because everybody would either be speaking their language, that we wouldn't necessarily be able to understand. And if we did understand it, we would never really be a part of it, right? So, yeah.
Okay, I really understand what you're saying, but thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Yes, I had to really, help her understand certain stuff. So you guys should be patient. The platform is open, so some people just have questions, and I need to let her know there's a difference, there's a difference. Oh, she is off. Is travel not a word without baggage? Calling, if you want to call in. Yes, sir. How you doing today? Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
now.
sorry about that. I had two things playing at the same time. Hold on.
Yeah.
Here, pause. I just wanted to say that your caller, real suspect, brother. You know, especially over here in the U.S. diaspora, we know that that was some nonsense. I don't even suspect that she was even black. We asked specific questions and stuff, but a lot of what she was doing was pretty much baiting, and a lot of people picked it up. While I was doing the moderating and stuff like that, I was, you know, hearing, but I'm actually reading at the same time, and someone did kind of tip me off, and when I started peeping out and listening to what she was saying, absolutely not. So I'm just trying to do my due diligence, but you have some other good people in the chat who are also being mindful of that. But, you know, we ain't here for none of that nonsense and playing games and stuff. This is a platform for African folks. This is a platform for everyone in the diaspora. You can play them games on somebody else's website, but when I come here to get information, when I'm coming here to get the truth, I could turn on the damn television if I want to see lies and games and stuff like that. So just for anybody to want to call and do the nonsense, I'm going to go ahead and delete you. If I'm moderating, I'll go ahead and check you and you can kiss my ass. That's it. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, you're welcome. Somebody said, you know, she was baiting, but I just, you know,
Yeah.
I just knew she wanted to, like, try to, I don't know, she was trying to find something for me to say wrong, but she
Yeah.
didn't know me. That's why she was like, oh, so when you, what do you think about? But she basically didn't know. I've been around for 4 years doing
Yeah.
this, you know, and I'm like, I don't know, but
And allow me to say too, and I see a comment from Sister T Kelly. She said facts, LOL. I think she was black, but baiting, LOL. You can be biologically black and psychologically white, and that's who we actually had on here. So again, that's just something that we definitely don't need. We come here to get good information. If you want to use this as a platform to say, you know, to go back and forth and stuff, this ain't the place for you, because that's all that people want to do is bait and bring up drama. That's some westernized stuff that I'm definitely trying to get away from. So I don't need to have it here on a website when I want to get real bona fide information. So,
yeah,
you know,
that was my first time seeing her on here, but trust me, a lot of people watch without even saying nothing. They're just watching.
Correct.
Different races, and I know different people watch.
And we probably have more white people watching this than we do our own. So let's let that be known.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much.
No problem, brother. I'm gonna get going, and I'll be back to moderating and everything, because I don't want to take away time from other folks that wanted to get on here and talk. So,
all right, thank you so much. I appreciate the support. But all my moderators, if somebody is trolling, you know, it's your job. You can take them off. You know, I trust your judgment. That's why I gave, you know, the moderating job to certain people. So, you know, as time goes on, I keep adding more moderators to this platform. But if you feel somebody is not, you know, just take them off. You know, just take them off. But just calling. Let's take some few callers and, you know, let's call it a day. But today's life was really productive. We had a lot of people bring in different perspective, and the goal has been the same. I haven't seen anyone calling in and really having a bad feeling about this whole thing. I think we are all coming into one agreement, and that's all what we're looking for. At the end of the day, like I always say, we have to look at the bigger picture. Coming together is the most important thing. Even in Ghana, I always tell my friends, you know, we should bypass me being a Ghanaian, Nigerian, Asante, Ewe, and all that stuff. We should bypass that and just be Ghanaians or Africans. when we have that type of mindset, it's easy to do things that will benefit our country and our nation and our people as a whole, instead of trying to see our tribes or ourselves to be more better than all these boundaries were created during colonization, and we need to think beyond. Even though we have physical borders, our mind have to be open and create no boundaries. Calling. I mean, we would not. I don't respond to trolls. There's a lot of people who say some comment, and I just read and I just bypass. I don't really give them attention. It's like there's so many positive energy on the platform and people for me to give a response to one person, who just trying to bring confusion. I'm not. I would save my energy for something else. So it's just what it is. Just calling. Let's take some few callers. It seems that it seems the comment section is more getting fun. Like the comment section is really interesting. But calling, if you want to call in, let's take some few people on here and we'll call it a day. In summarization, just call in and let us know what you think, what you have for us, what do you want to contribute, your ideologies and everything. Please call in. I really appreciate everyone being here for 30 hours and 30 minutes. Just call in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hi, thanks for joining.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
All right, doing a great job.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah, so I'm just calling in. I'm calling from Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to address the lady, not the last one, but the previous one. That talked about the about atonement for slavery.
Oh yeah. That was asking me the question.
Yes. So because I've been hearing about how Africans sold African Americans to slavery, which is true. It wasn't a one-way thing. It wasn't like all the remaining Africans in Africa. After they were complicit into this, and also some of the African Americans, their ancestors were also involved in slave trade. So it was a tribal thing. It was whoever get captured. It was just so some of them were selling slaves before they were captured and sold to slavery. Likewise, the ones that remain in Africa. So it's not a one-way thing. So Africa can atone for their sins, and also African Americans, they need to also atone for their involvement. Because some of us that remain in Africa, our ancestors were captured by their ancestors too, and brought to America. So we need to bring this to the forefront, because I hear this complaint a lot from the African Americans, because a lot of them don't know this.
Okay, so you saying what you saying is, some people also. I don't know. Can you repeat the whole thing? I don't. Yeah. What?
So basically, this was just a tribal warfare thing where a chief from one tribe will, pursue another tribe and capture them. So it was just one tribe against another tribe, capturing slaves and selling them to slavery. So it wasn't like one part. It wasn't like all of the remaining Africans in Africa they came together and decided, okay, let's capture this sector of Africans and sell them to slavery. It was a tribal thing, people capturing each other. So some of the
hold on, let me address this. So the question today is the question is,
yeah,
why didn't, this is what most people wanted to know, especially from the African diaspora community. We have bypassed, the topic of slavery. Now, we wanted to talk about why didn't, African nations reach out and say, let's bring our brothers home after everything was fought and freedom was attained on both sides. Why didn't they reach out and say, I think our brothers and sisters went through this. Now, since there's freedom or independence, why can't they come back home or return back home?
Well, that's a good question, and I'm also in support of that. I think African government should do just that and create a program where should encourage African Americans and all the other Africans in Latin America, especially Brazil, which has the largest African population outside of Africa and all over around the world. So they need to create a program where they bring them back in to the continent, make it easier for those that wants to come back in, because it's not all of them. Some of them, you got to be careful because some of them, they don't want to be called Africans. So those that want to be unite and be in that Black First group, we should encourage them to come back. And but as far as atonement, I think Africa governments need to do something to kind of basically do atonement for our involvement in slavery and selling people back into slavery. And also those in the diaspora needs to do the same. Those Africans in the diaspora, especially African Americans, Brazilian, because their ancestors were also involved into slavery. Everybody was involved. It wasn't just the remaining ones in Africa. So all of our ancestors were complicit into this. So we need to do something to, for forgiveness from, because some of us some of the people that remain in Africa, their ancestors were sold into slavery too. So their family were ripped apart too. So everybody wants to involve. But as long as for your last question, if why the African government are not trying to bring back African Americans, already know there are a lot of struggles in Africa with the government being, almost incapable of doing much because of colonialism and all that. And we, in the just 20 years ago, we have a bunch of civil wars in different countries, all of these things. So we were going through a lot as well. So it's just recently, the past decade or so, that we starting to gain, foot into being stable. So all of that play a part. Like 10 years ago, you wouldn't even, over 10 years ago, you wouldn't even dare to invite some African Americans back in Africa because there was wars going on, all type of stuff going on. So
10 years ago, it all depends on the country. 10 years ago, it depends on the country because Ghana, it all depends on the country, but not Africa as a whole. But I really appreciate your input. A lot of people on here. Thank you so much for calling in.
I appreciate, man. Keep up the good work.
All right. Yeah. Hi. How you doing?
Hi, Day. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
To see you again tonight. We've had I guess I don't know what to say about that other person, but however, I just had to come in and speak to you. Hello, everyone on the chat. As far as like the young lady that is in school, I guess she's in America. From what I understood, the young lady. Her parents are from Ghana.
Oh, the one that I was speaking the key with?
Yes. Oh my gosh, she is very intelligent for her age. Oh my goodness. I really enjoyed her because I was gonna come in, but after really listening to her speak, like I was sitting there, I was like, why is she in America going to school? But now I understand. She basically answered my question because as I was thinking about going to Gambia, but of course, I kind of changed my mind about Gambia. I never really thought about going to Ghana, but I'm more interested now in Rwanda. And after doing research, I love how clean they are, because I have a little OCD. But and then the leader is very, what's the word to say? He's a very firm leader, and I love the leadership. I really love it. I feel like if we had that here in America, maybe things would be different. And I'm also learning a lot. Like, after finding out so much that, we were lied to, and it makes me upset. It really makes me upset. And I really wish I knew about Africa a long time ago.
But it's not
I
too
wouldn't even be
late.
here.
Trust me, it's
I
not
would
too
not be here. Yeah, I would not be here at all. So I really wish that I knew about it. But however, no need to dwell on that. It's what we can do now. And our plans are to get to Africa. I don't care what part of Africa, except I'm not going to South Africa. I don't want to go to South Africa. But because I feel like that's
More the same. More
it's the same as America. Why would I go to the same thing I'm in now? Like, no, I'm trying to do something completely different. And I want to blend in. I want to learn about my culture, my people. I want to learn the language. I want to learn everything. I want to eat whatever they eat, and I feel like, us coming over, we have to get that in our minds. It will be hard, but we can do it. We can do it. It's a no-brainer, especially if you're tired of America, KKK. Okay, you'll do what you need to do. And I sleep, eat, I talk about it. Some of my friends don't want to hear it. I've had some that say they're not African. Like, are you serious? You're not African? Yes, you are. You are. But
this is what I realized. Like I said, I have had so many encounters with people who don't want to associate themselves with being African. But when you listen to their reasons and where they coming from, it's because of the social engineering of the images and all the stereotypes that has been instilled within their mind. So it's really hard for them to accept it. But I really believe in the growth, and sometimes it will take you to take that step for them to look. Oh wow, okay, let me. So I believe, yeah, the more individually we pay more attention to our journey and focusing and not caring so much about those who are not interested. When you get there, you'll be able to change.
Yes, we hopefully, I'm claiming that we will be going next year to visit, and even we'll do a little, learning in between, but it's mainly about business and, lining up things to get there and make it our future. And you're right. You took the words right out of my mouth. I said, you know what? Unfortunately, I'm going to stop talking. And once I just want to just step my 2 feet on the ground. Okay. Like, that's like the first step. And I do have a YouTube channel that I'm starting to get into now. And of course I will be videoing once we step foot there, because all it takes is one person.
Right.
And the rest will follow.
Yeah, and like I said, the moment you take that step, trust me, they will look at you and say, "Hey, wow, if she can do it, I can do it too." And maybe you can change the perspective with your family around and all that stuff. So sometimes it takes that one person in the family to change all the narrative.
You're absolutely right. And I thank you guys, you and everyone else, because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't know. We would have no idea. We'd just listen to the Europeans. Period.
and so social media has really helped, because trust me, back in the days growing up, when we couldn't get access to Facebook and YouTube and all this stuff, these images were being controlled by the media houses. So the US would never, ever show anything bad going on in the US. They control, and Africa didn't really have a media institution that will protect, all the images that goes out and the the videos and other stuff, they didn't have any protection for the image. So, you know, Europeans come in, take pictures and write a story about it, take donations and do all that stuff. So we were out there, the images were there, and it was just in people's mind.
Oh my goodness. And some people you just can't even talk to them about it. You know, I even tell them if you don't want to, you know, because not everybody's going to go to Africa. You know, I see, oh, are you going? Okay. Yeah, not everybody's going to go. But my advice to them is at least come visit.
Yep.
Come visit. That's it. So I just wanted you to see, it's small, but that's my map of Africa.
That's a manifestation right there. You know, that's manifestation right there. Keep talking about it. Don't let anyone stop your voice.
No.
You know, and the more you manifest it into the sky, into the universe, and say, I'm going, we're preparing, we will get there to the land, to Rwanda, it will happen. Before you know, you are there.
That's right. I don't care how long it takes. I'm putting my all into it.
Trust me.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
You're welcome. And thanks you too for calling in.
Yes. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye. Call in if you want to call in. I'm trying to fix my camera, so you know, if you can't see me, I apologize for calling. I'm taking the last 3 callers, and we'll call it a day. And if you want us to talk about any subject tomorrow, I'm not sure tomorrow if I can be here, but just comment below or email me the topic, and we will basically tackle it tomorrow, or you know, another time. But I have an appointment with a brother tomorrow, so I'm not sure if I can be here. But calling. Hi, yes, sir. How you doing today?
Hey, how you doing? Peace and blessings.
I'm good. I'm good.
So I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I know it's coming to the end, and I think everybody pretty much said everything that has to be said. I just want to come with a couple of solutions, talk solutions to the problem. I think that all these African countries as a whole could do a symbolic proclamation welcoming all the Diaspora home. And I think that would go a long way. We know they can't do anything because we got all these political ties. But if it's symbolically they welcome everyone back home, will go a lot to changing the feeling of us in the U.S. and in the West about why you didn't come and rescue us after slavery. And secondly, under the circumstances that's definitely going on in America with police violence and stuff, I think it was a perfect opportunity for some of these countries to do some type of proclamation, like being prisoners of war, or offer asylum to African Americans to get us to come back, where they can get around having to you know, I think it was yesterday on your show, they were saying something about these countries owing money. I think you said that the countries owing money to China and these other places, and if they offer like automatic citizenship or something to just black Americans or the UK, then they would say racism. But under the, you know, with the news, all the murders going on, everybody seeing this stuff now would be a perfect opportunity where they wouldn't have to even change the law by just offering us asylum. So just, you know, two things.
And with that reference, a lot of people didn't really get what I was trying to say. But if you owe, you are not free indirectly. And you know, if these countries, if these African countries owe these Europeans money, and the only way they can really have the automatic citizenship strictly just for African diaspora is to create a program outside the constitution. You see what I'm saying? Just like what Ghana tried to do, the right of abode. They can create a program just outside the constitution, backed institutionally by law, and say, if you want to repatriate, if you want to return back home, you know, these are the measures we have put in place that you can, you know, sign up for and join, and we will help you assimilate, you know, cool or nicely, you know. So I think because they don't want to, a lot of the leaders, especially a lot of the leaders don't want to sound like, oh, we, because they are scared to be seen as, you know, oh, we are for, we hate white people, we have that hate people. So they want to play the, you know, house.
Well,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
see what I'm saying?
they not gonna let you. You know, I mean, I hate to say it, but you know, white supremacy love to play the victim. So it's the same thing they used to say about in America about the race card when George Floyd and stuff happened, and people started talking about this racism and stuff that was going on. They used to say, "Oh, you playing the race card." Now, you know, I'm still waiting on an apology for the race card because they said racism didn't exist, the Ku Klux Klan didn't exist. None of this stuff existed when Black Americans been complaining about this treatment forever. But now that it's on video camera, you seeing people getting murdered. Now they finally opening up the scene. So I just think it's a perfect opportunity, and we got to think that, you know, this is chess, it's not checkers. We got to, only thing we got to use their words against them. They offer political asylum to everybody else in the world when something go down in their country. So we got to use, when you're dealing with them, you got to use the same thing they use on you. You got to use it back on them, and it won't hurt the country to do this. I mean, it will hurt them because they still gonna cry about it. But when you're using the same thing they're using against us, they can't say anything, and you know, without looking like the hypocrites they are.
Yep. And like I said, you know, this is just the beginning of this whole thing. 5 years from now, 5 years from now, you see a lot of people, you know, even already before this, there were about 15,000 African diaspora in Ghana alone. So I'm saying 15,000 now, you know, and how the movement is going, people becoming aware, people are feeling more connected, you know, the whole numbers will double up and it will keep moving forward.
I know they are because I never thought about it before. This last couple of years, it was never even in my imagination even thinking about visiting Africa. I never been out the country or had a passport to all this stuff happening, and it was never an option. I even thought about retiring and moving to the Caribbean or, you know, Panama, somewhere like that. Africa never came up until I came across a bag video and like, oh, okay, this is actually a possibility. So I know it's, and like I said, with this election going on, with all the stuff going on in America, that it's going to be the floodgates going to open so bad that they're going to admit it. They're going to try to stop people from leaving. They're going to be like I said in the comment yesterday. We're going to be just like the trying to get underneath the border to get out of here. Once
Yeah.
So I see that coming.
Yeah, and I always say, you know, we should, if you don't have a passport in this comment section in 2020, you need to get one. It's really,
I'm just waiting.
Yeah, you need to get one because trust me, the moment, you know, a lot of this COVID-19, I think the passport prices went up.
Everything went up.
Yeah.
Everything went up. They trying to force us to leave because, you know, once that mass exodus happens, it's a hit on their economy. I mean, you can't continue being the slave master if you ain't got no slaves. Somebody got to do the grunt work and be on the bottom. Capitalism doesn't work unless the top 1% can, you know, reap all the resources, and everybody else got to work hard till they die. So once you get rid of them, then they're gonna have to do some work, and then the whole system crumbles.
Right.
So, and that's what's happening. Everybody's trying to get out. And if they're not getting out now, when this election come over and Trump lose and he decide not to leave, and all these white supremacists are gonna be sitting out in front of the White House with AR-15 saying that he can stay, and you know they've been trying to start this race war going on, and all these militias coming out. So, black and white now. So, it may get, depending on how it go, it may get really bad here. So if you ain't got a passport, you better get one, because like I said, we're gonna be just like the Mexicans trying to crawl underneath the border, trying to get out of America. It's gonna be in reverse in a couple months. And one last thing before I go, I noticed something too, and if you in America and you stuck here in this matrix, you better get you a concealed carry permit. You better get you a firearm, 1 or 2 for home defense. I never really thought about it. I got one of my cousins that was really into guns, and he kind of, I kind of went to the range with him and stuff, but I never thought about it until I was looking on YouTube for a video for something for my truck. I got a Ram truck, and I came across some videos of some white guys that the back seat of the truck don't go down, but they figured out a way how to make the seat go down, and look behind it. They got a gun rack. They got all types of guns lined up in the back of their cars. They making gun safes to go on their cars, and I'm not even thinking like this as a regular person, but they are getting armed and they ready for the zombie apocalypse to happen, and we sit up here. Well, I wasn't even thinking about it. So, you better think if you got to be here and it's a war, and everybody ain't gonna be on the front lines. Some people got to stay back. Everybody got different jobs, so everybody not gonna be able to go. But if you gonna be here, you better be ready to protect you and your family.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We'll get our last caller. Thank you so much.
Okay. Peace and blessings, and I'll see y'all again.
All right. Stay blessed. Thank you so much, family. I really appreciate everyone being on here. We're about to call it a day. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you haven't smashed the like button, go ahead and smash the like button. And like I said, if you want to send me a topic that you think we should talk about, that will, project and help our unity to develop, just go ahead and, shoot me an email about the topic you want us to talk about. And we'll basically, touch on it on the next live. But I really appreciate everyone's support. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like I said, this is the email. Make sure you send me a topic. If you have any topic you want us to talk about, I'll scroll through and choose the best one that will, bring everyone's interest to touch on it. So make sure you do so. And thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, like I said, go ahead and do so and smash the like button. Thank you so much. Stay blessed, and see you another time. And make sure you join our Facebook Africa Travelers group if you haven't joined. It's important. Check the comment below. Admin just put it on there. You can go ahead and click on the link to join the Facebook Africa Travelers group as well. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for being here. The next live will probably be next week. Probably Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Probably next week, probably next week. So if I'm not here by next week, I'll probably do some videos and upload. But always look out Monday, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays. We'll be doing this live, and make sure you stay connected. Make sure you do your best, stay focused. If you are interested in moving to the African continent, just have a plan, have a strategy, and work towards it day in and day out. And execute the plan. Go visit first. Experience it yourself. And if it's for you, just go ahead and do it. And I believe you will love it as well. But always do everything with a plan and stay focused. Don't let nothing discourage you. No matter what it is, always go experience yourself, because you live only once. And make sure, you know, the things that you have in mind to experience, make sure you experience it, and also pass it down to your children. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hold on. Thank you so much. Stay blessed and see you next week.